Sometimes, life takes us places we never saw coming. It all started with a light in the sky. A light that kept getting closer and closer until it crashed right in front of me. Yeah. A spaceship. But not just any spaceship. Its pilot wasn't from our world. And from that moment on, everything changed for me, and for everyone around me. My name is Izuku Midoriya. And this is a brand new chapter in my life. Welcome to part 2 of What If Deku Was Trained by a Jedi. Chapter 6, Saying Goodbye. The days that followed were a blur of activity, a whirlwind of final goodbyes and heartfelt promises. Anakin, despite his ethereal nature, felt the weight of leaving, a poignant ache in the chest that resonated with the quiet farewells exchanged with Deku. He had found more than just a student in Deku, he had found a son, a kindred spirit who carried the same fierce dedication to justice and the unwavering belief in hope's enduring strength. Their bond, forged in the crucible of battle against overwhelming odds, was a testament to the power of shared purpose and mutual respect. Anakin spent hours in Deku's makeshift training ground, a scarred patch of land miraculously spared from the devastation of the final battle. The air still hummed with residual energy, a silent echo of the titanic struggle. He meticulously checked Deku's posture, his stance, the way he channeled one for all. He offered corrections, whispered advice, small adjustments that would mean the difference between victory and defeat in future encounters. He wasn't just teaching fighting techniques, he was imparting a legacy, a philosophy, the essence of a Jedi's unwavering commitment to justice and compassion. Their sparring sessions weren't about power, they were about connection, about refining the delicate balance between raw power and precise control. Anakin's movements were fluid, graceful, a dance of light and shadow, his energy a shimmering aura that enveloped Deku. He used his connection to the Force to guide Deku's movements, subtly correcting his flaws, strengthening his strengths. It was a silent conversation, a dance of energy and understanding, a testament to their profound bond. Between the training sessions, they spent hours simply talking. They discussed the galaxy far, far away, the differences and similarities between their worlds. Anakin recounted tales of the Jedi Order, the wisdom of Yoda, the tragic fall of his former master. He shared stories of the Clone Wars, the loss, and the sacrifices, the weight of responsibility that he had carried for so long. Deku, in turn, spoke of his own experiences, the challenges he faced, the sacrifices he made. They shared their hopes and fears, their dreams and aspirations, their anxieties about the future. The shared silences between them were as significant as the words they exchanged. Anakin, accustomed to the vast expanse of space and the comforting hum of his starship, found solace in the quiet moments spent with Deku, a quiet peace he hadn't anticipated. He had found a sense of belonging he hadn't realized he was missing, a sense of grounding that anchored him to something real. He found in Deku a reflection of the hope and resilience that he had fought so hard to preserve. As the day of his departure neared, Anakin began to feel a familiar pang of bittersweet melancholy. He knew he had to return to his own galaxy, to his own responsibilities, but the thought of leaving this newfound connection, this haven of peace and understanding, filled him with a sense of loss. He had spent so much time focusing on the war's destruction, the pain, and the loss, he had almost forgotten the simple pleasures of connection and companionship. He spent days poring over his own old journals, detailing his experiences throughout the Clone Wars and the aftermath. He realized that leaving Earth didn't mean leaving Deku behind. Instead, he would take these memories, these lessons, as a reminder of the strength of hope and the power of unwavering belief. He painstakingly selected a few entries, ones that particularly emphasized the importance of compassion, the strength of resilience and the perseverance of hope. He meticulously crafted a final message to Deku, imbuing it with the same depth of emotion and wisdom that he had instilled in his training. The message, written in elegant calligraphy on aged parchment, served as a physical testament to their bond. He described his experiences, his regrets, and his hopes for the future, all while reaffirming his faith in Deku's ability to carry on his legacy and to continue the fight for justice and hope. The farewell itself was simple, unostentatious, yet profoundly moving. There were no grand speeches, no extravagant gestures. Instead, there was a quiet embrace, a shared look of understanding, a silent acknowledgement of the bond that had been forged. Anakin felt Deku's hand clasp his, a silent promise of continued connection, a shared bond of hope across the vastness of galaxies. It was a connection that extended beyond physical presence, transcending time and space. As Anakin prepared for his departure, he gazed at the star-dusted night sky, a mirror to the galaxy he would soon return to. He felt a sense of completion, a profound sense of purpose and renewed hope. He had found healing, closure, and a profound connection that transcended the vast expanse of space. His heart was full, yet his eyes remained moist with unshed tears. He had come to Earth in search of solace and peace, yet he discovered much more. He found a purpose that extended beyond the battlefield, a legacy that would extend far beyond the confines of his own galaxy. He boarded his ship, the familiar hum of the engines a comforting counterpoint to the quiet hum of his own heart. He knew the journey back would be long, the challenges ahead formidable, but he was no longer burdened by the weight of the past. He carried the wisdom he had learned on Earth, the lessons in hope and resilience, the indelible mark of the connection he forged with Deku. These would guide him, strengthen him, and help him to carry on his fight for justice, for peace, for the preservation of hope in a galaxy desperately in need of it. The memories of his time on Earth, of the shared moments of laughter and silent understanding, would be with him always, a beacon of hope guiding his path through the darkness. Anakin Skywalker, the Jedi Knight, the warrior, and the man, left Earth, but a part of him remained, forever entwined with the spirit of the young hero he had trained, a bond forged in the crucible of battle and strengthened by shared hope. His departure was not an ending but a new beginning, a new chapter in the ongoing fight for justice, fueled by the renewed purpose and the powerful memory of his time on Earth. He looked back one last time, a silent farewell to a world that had healed his wounds, replenished his spirit, and reminded him of the power of hope, a hope that would continue to guide him through the challenges that lay ahead. The journey back was long, but the legacy of his connection to Deku would travel with him, a constant companion on his journey through the stars. The crimson sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the scarred training grounds. A quiet solemnity settled between Anakin and Deku, a stark contrast to the vibrant energy that had filled their days together. The air, once thick with the residual hum of their intense training sessions, now held a stillness that spoke of impending separation. Yet, this silence wasn't heavy with sorrow, it was pregnant with a shared understanding, a silent acknowledgement of the bond that transcended worlds and galaxies. Anakin, his usually vibrant aura subdued, knelt beside Deku, the setting sun painting his face in hues of orange and purple. He carefully unsheathed a small, intricately carved box from his belt. Inside, nestled on a bed of soft velvet, lay a single, smooth, obsidian-like stone, pulsing with a faint, internal light. It was a piece of a kyber crystal, salvaged from his own lightsaber, imbued with a fraction of his connection to the Force. "This," Anakin began, his voice low and resonant, "is a piece of my heart, Deku. A fragment of my journey, a reminder of our time together." He extended the box to Deku, his eyes reflecting the setting sun's fiery glow. "Hold on to it. When you feel lost, when doubt clouds your judgment, or when the burden of your responsibility feels too heavy, hold this stone. Feel its energy, let it remind you of the strength you possess, the unwavering hope that resides within you." Deku's eyes widened, a mixture of surprise and profound emotion swirling within their depths. He carefully took the box, his fingers gently tracing the cool surface of the crystal. The weight of the gift was more than just physical, it was the weight of a shared history, of mutual respect, and of a profound connection forged in the fires of adversity. "I won't forget," Deku whispered, his voice barely audible above the rustling of the wind. He looked up at Anakin, his green eyes shining with unshed tears. "I'll carry this, and your teachings, with me always. They'll be my guide, my strength, my hope." Anakin smiled, a sad but resolute smile that spoke volumes of unspoken emotions. He reached out, placing a hand on Deku's shoulder, his touch light but firm. "The galaxy is vast, Deku. We are worlds apart, but our connection transcends distance. It transcends time and space. It's a bond forged in the crucible of shared struggle, strengthened by mutual respect, and illuminated by the unyielding flame of hope." He paused, taking a deep breath, letting the silence hang heavy between them for a moment before continuing. "This isn't goodbye, Deku. It's a temporary farewell. A promise of reunion. Though our paths may diverge, I know, with absolute certainty, that our destinies are intertwined. The Force guides us, binds us, connects us across the immensity of the cosmos. And I have a strong feeling that our paths will cross again." Deku nodded slowly, absorbing Anakin's words, letting them seep into the very core of his being. The promise of reunion wasn't merely a hopeful statement, it was a reassurance, a tangible link connecting them across the vast expanse of space and time. It was a promise whispered to the universe, a silent vow etched into the fabric of their shared experiences. "I'll be waiting," Deku said, his voice gaining strength, a newfound resolve hardening his tone. "Waiting for the day our paths converge again. I'll be ready." His grip tightened around the small box, the obsidian stone a tangible symbol of their enduring bond. They stood there for a long time, silhouetted against the fiery sunset, two young men from vastly different worlds, united by a shared experience, a common purpose, and an unbreakable bond. The silence was filled not with sadness, but with a quiet anticipation, a hopeful expectation of a future reunion. The setting sun painted the sky in vibrant hues, mirroring the radiant strength of their friendship and the unwavering belief in their shared destiny. As darkness enveloped them, Anakin boarded his starship, the familiar hum of the engines a comforting sound that did little to dispel the bittersweet emotion swirling within him. He looked back at Deku, a small figure standing against the night sky, a beacon of hope in the vast darkness. He raised a hand in a silent farewell, a gesture of gratitude and shared understanding. The journey back to his own galaxy was long and arduous. The familiar constellations, once comforting, now felt distant and impersonal. He missed the camaraderie, the quiet moments of shared reflection, the simple act of sparring with Deku, the feeling of that special connection with someone so far from home. However, the memories of his time on Earth, the lessons learned, and the enduring bond with Deku, fueled his journey. He delved back into his journals, rereading the entries he had painstakingly selected for Deku. Each word, each sentiment, served as a reminder of his time on Earth, a testament to the power of connection and hope. He found himself contemplating the parallels between the conflicts he had faced in his own galaxy and those faced by Deku on Earth. The struggles, the sacrifices, the battles fought against seemingly insurmountable odds, these were universal themes, transcends the boundaries of worlds and galaxies. He spent hours meditating, connecting with the Force, feeling the faint echo of his connection with Deku. It was a faint pulse, a whisper across the vast expanse of space, yet it was undeniable, a powerful reminder of the profound bond they shared. He realized that the Force wasn't just a mystical energy, it was a universal connection, a network that bound all living things, bridging the gap between worlds and galaxies. The weight of his past responsibilities seemed lighter now, less burdensome. He carried the weight of his duties with renewed resolve and purpose, infused with the lessons of resilience and hope that Deku had inadvertently taught him. He had sought solace on Earth, a respite from the ceaseless battles and losses he had experienced. He found that and more, he discovered a profound connection that changed his outlook, reignited his passion, and reminded him of the vital importance of hope in a galaxy desperately in need of it. The obsidian stone, a fragment of his own kyber crystal, served as a physical reminder of this newfound perspective. He visualized the stone, feeling its faint energy resonating with his own. He pictured Deku holding the stone, feeling its energy, drawing strength and resilience from it. Their bond, he realized, wasn't limited by physical distance, it extended across galaxies, bound by the very fabric of the Force. It was a promise, a silent oath to meet again, to continue their shared journey of hope and resilience in their respective universes. He knew that his time on Earth had irrevocably changed him, profoundly shaping his worldview and reinforcing his unwavering belief in the power of hope. He wasn't merely a Jedi Knight returning to his galaxy, he was a changed man, carrying with him the weight of profound lessons and the cherished memory of an unexpected friendship. The promise of reunion, whispered in the stillness of a sunset, was more than a mere sentiment. It was a promise to the Force, a pledge to the shared destiny that bound him to a young hero from a distant world. A part of him would forever remain on Earth, and a part of Deku would travel with him across the stars. The journey ahead was uncertain, but the beacon of their shared hope shone brightly, guiding them both through the darkness. The starship's hyperdrive engaged, a surge of energy coursing through the vessel as it leapt into hyperspace. Anakin watched the swirling nebulae of unknown galaxies paint the viewport in a kaleidoscope of colors, a stark contrast to the familiar, comforting night sky of Earth. But even the breathtaking beauty of the cosmos couldn't fully distract him from the bittersweet feeling of leaving Deku behind. He found himself replaying their last conversation, each word echoing in the quiet expanse of the cockpit. Anakin had sat beside Deku, the obsidian crystal resting warmly in his hand, a physical manifestation of their bond. He had spoken not of grand battles or cosmic prophecies, but of the quieter, more profound truths he'd learned during his time on Earth. He had talked about the importance of empathy, the strength found in vulnerability, and the unwavering power of believing in oneself, even in the face of overwhelming odds. Deku, he had begun, his voice softer than the gentle hum of the starship's engines, the Force. It's not just about wielding power, it's about understanding balance. It's about compassion, understanding, and knowing when to hold back, when to let go. On Earth, I learned that sometimes the greatest strength isn't in overpowering your opponent, but in understanding their motivations, in seeking common ground, even with those who seem irrevocably opposed to you. He had paused, watching as Deku listened intently, his usually bright eyes clouded with a thoughtful contemplation. Anakin continued, "Your strength, Deku, lies not just in your quirk, but in your heart. It's in your unwavering belief in justice, in your compassion for others, even your enemies. Never let those qualities be diminished, No matter how dark the path becomes, he remembered the countless battles they had simulated, the countless hours spent studying strategy and tactics, the exhausting training regimes. But those were only a part of their lessons. The true teaching had come from watching Deku interact with his friends, struggling with his own self-doubt, overcoming seemingly insurmountable obstacles with sheer willpower and the strength of his spirit. "Remember the times you stumbled, Deku?" Anakin continued, a gentle smile playing on his lips. "Remember the doubts that plagued you? Those are not weaknesses, they are opportunities for growth. Embrace those moments, learn from them, and never allow them to define you. It is in those moments of vulnerability that true strength is forged. It is your ability to rise from defeat, to learn from failure, that makes you truly extraordinary." He'd then spoken of the importance of hope, of never giving up, even when faced with seemingly insurmountable odds. He had spoken of the battles fought in his own galaxy, of the darkness he had faced, the losses he had suffered. Yet, through it all, it was hope that had sustained him, that had given him the strength to continue fighting, to continue believing in a better future. "Hope is not naive optimism, Deku," Anakin explained, "it's a conscious choice, a persistent belief in the possibility of good, even amidst overwhelming darkness. It's the fuel that drives us forward, even when we feel like giving up. It's the unwavering belief that even in the darkest of times, there is always light to be found, a path to be followed. Hold on to that hope, nurture it, for it is your most powerful weapon." He had also spoken of the weight of responsibility, of the burdens that come with heroism. He'd shared his own struggles with the weight of expectation, the constant pressure to be perfect, the fear of failure. He'd explained that carrying such weight wasn't a sign of weakness, but a testament to the strength of character required to shoulder such responsibilities. "Don't be afraid to ask for help, Deku," he advised. "Even the strongest among us need support, need guidance, need companionship. Don't carry the burden alone. Lean on your friends, your allies, those who believe in you and your cause. True strength lies not in isolation, but in unity, in working together towards a common goal." He'd spent a considerable time discussing the importance of balance in life. Not just the balance between light and dark, but the balance between action and reflection, between striving for greatness and appreciating the simple joys of life. He'd emphasized the need to nurture friendships, to cultivate relationships, and to cherish those moments of connection that give life meaning and purpose. He'd pointed out the importance of self-care, of recognizing one's own limits, and of knowing when to rest and recharge. "The path of a hero is not always glorious, Deku," he'd said. "There will be sacrifices, there will be losses, there will be moments of doubt and despair. But it is through these challenges that we truly discover our strength, our resilience, and our unwavering commitment to justice. Never forget the lessons you've learned here, and always remember the bond we've forged." Finally, Anakin had given Deku one last piece of advice, a piece of wisdom born not from Jedi lore or ancient texts but from the shared experience of their unlikely friendship. "Remember, Deku," he had said, his voice filled with a profound sense of warmth and affection, "your journey is your own. Don't let others dictate your path. Follow your heart, trust your instincts, and never lose sight of what truly matters to you. Your destiny is not predetermined, it is crafted by your choices, your actions, and your unwavering commitment to your beliefs. And you, Deku, have the strength and courage to shape your own destiny." The image of Deku's face, a mixture of determination and gratitude, remained etched in his mind. The quiet strength in the young hero's eyes, the unwavering belief in his own abilities, had filled Anakin with a profound sense of hope for the future, not only for Deku, but for the galaxy far, far away, and for his own journey back home. He knew that their paths may diverge, but the lessons learned, the bonds forged, and the memories created would forever remain a beacon, a guiding light in the vast and often unforgiving expanse of the universe. He felt a strange sense of peace settling within him, a calmness that emanated from the deep connection forged between two worlds. He was going home, but a part of him, a vital part, would always remain on Earth, forever connected to the young hero he had the honor of mentoring. The journey continued, but the shared destiny and the unwavering hope remained, as strong as the Force itself. The hyperspace jump was smoother than Anakin had anticipated, a gentle lullaby of swirling colors compared to the jarring transitions he'd experienced in his own galaxy. Yet, the serenity of the journey couldn't entirely mask the ache in his chest. He was leaving Deku, leaving a piece of himself behind on this vibrant, strangely familiar planet. He thought of the quiet moments shared, the unspoken understanding that had blossomed between them, defying the vast gulf of distance and cultural differences. It had been more than just mentorship, it was a friendship forged in the crucible of shared challenges and mutual respect. He reached out and touched the obsidian crystal resting on the control panel, its cool smoothness a comforting presence. It pulsed faintly, a silent echo of the connection they shared, a link across galaxies. He closed his eyes, remembering their last conversation in detail, each word resonating with the weight of unspoken emotions. They hadn't spoken of grand farewells or heroic sacrifices. Their goodbye was a quiet symphony of shared understanding, a tacit acknowledgement of the profound bond they had forged. Deku had insisted on walking Anakin to the launch site, a quiet, uncharacteristic solemnity clinging to him. They walked in comfortable silence, broken only by the distant hum of the starship's engines preparing for launch. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in a fiery spectacle of orange, purple and red. It was a breathtaking farewell, nature itself seemingly paying its respects to their parting. "You know," Deku had finally said, his voice barely a whisper, "I never thought I'd meet someone like you." Anakin smiled, a warmth spreading through him. "And I never thought I'd find a friend like you on a planet so far from my own." They stood for a long moment, watching the sunset, neither of them willing to break the silence. The weight of unspoken gratitude hung heavy in the air, a palpable connection between two souls bound by an unlikely friendship. The setting sun cast long shadows, painting them in a melancholic light, highlighting the unspoken sadness of their parting. The training. It was more than just mastering my quirk, Deku continued, his voice thick with emotion. You taught me about balance, about understanding the true weight of responsibility. You helped me see the world differently, not just through the lens of victory and defeat, but through the lens of compassion and understanding. Anakin nodded, a lump forming in his throat. He had seen Deku's growth, his transformation from a hesitant young hero into a confident leader, a powerful symbol of hope and resilience. He had seen the depth of his compassion, his unwavering dedication to justice, and the quiet strength that resided within his seemingly unassuming demeanor. And you, Deku, Anakin replied, his voice equally soft, you taught me the true meaning of hope. You reminded me that even in the darkest corners of the galaxy, there is always light to be found, always a reason to fight, to believe. Your unwavering spirit, your resilience, your compassion. They are a constant reminder of the good that still exists in the universe. A comfortable silence fell between them once more, a silence punctuated only by the gentle breeze rustling through the nearby trees. They stood there, bathed in the glow of the setting sun, two figures united by a bond that transcended worlds and galaxies. The weight of their impending separation hung heavy in the air, a tangible presence between them. It was a silence that spoke volumes, a silent testament to the depth of their connection. Finally, Deku broke the silence, his voice filled with a quiet determination. No matter how far apart we are, I'll never forget what you've taught me, Anakin. I'll carry your words with me, always. Anakin reached out and placed a hand on Deku's shoulder, the contact electrifying. He felt the young hero's strength, his unwavering spirit, the quiet determination that burned brightly within him. It was a strength that transcended physical prowess, it was a strength of character, a resilience forged in the fires of adversity. And I, Deku, Anakin replied, his voice choked with emotion, will never forget you. You've been a beacon of hope, a reminder of the unwavering strength of the human spirit, a testament to the good that remains in the universe. Know this, you are truly extraordinary. They embraced, a silent farewell spoken in the language of shared experiences and mutual respect. It was a simple embrace, yet it conveyed the depth of their bond, the powerful connection forged between two unlikely friends from two vastly different worlds. The warmth of the embrace, the silent understanding, the unspoken gratitude, these were the unspoken words that resonated far louder than any spoken farewell. It was an embrace that spoke of shared battles, shared laughter, and shared dreams, an embrace that transcended the boundaries of time and space. As Anakin turned to board the starship, he looked back one last time. Deku stood silhouetted against the fiery sunset, a lone figure against the backdrop of a fading day. The image of Deku, his silhouette stark against the vibrant colors of the sky, remained etched in Anakin's memory. It was a picture of hope, a symbol of the enduring strength of the human spirit, a testament to the powerful bond they had forged. The launch sequence began, a series of beeps and whirs that punctuated the otherwise quiet farewell. Anakin settled into the cockpit, the hum of the hyperdrive a soothing counterpoint to the turmoil of his emotions. He was going home, but he was carrying a piece of Earth with him, a part of Deku woven into the fabric of his being. The starship ascended into the inky blackness, leaving the vibrant hues of the sunset behind. But in the heart of the young Jedi, the memories of their shared journey remained, as vivid and vibrant as the sunset they had just witnessed, a testament to a friendship that defied all odds, a bond as strong as the Force itself. He knew that their paths might diverge, that the galaxies might stretch between them, but the lessons learned, the bonds forged, and the memories created would forever remain, a guiding light in the vast and often unforgiving expanse of the universe. The journey continued, but the shared destiny, and the unwavering hope, remained, as strong as the Force itself. The farewell wasn't an ending, but a transition, a step towards a future where their shared experiences would continue to shape their individual paths. And in the vast expanse of the cosmos, that shared hope, that enduring friendship, would shine as brightly as any star. He felt a deep sense of peace, a tranquility that settled over him like the stillness of a calm night. He was going home, but he was carrying a part of Earth, a part of Deku, with him, always. The journey ahead was uncertain, but the memory of their shared journey, of their friendship, would be a constant source of strength, a beacon in the darkest of times. The emotional weight of their farewell settled upon him, a powerful reminder of the bonds that shape us, the lessons we learn, and the enduring power of hope. He looked out at the swirling nebulae, a kaleidoscope of colors reflecting the complexity of emotions he carried within him. The journey had just begun, a new chapter unfolding in the vast expanse of the universe, carrying with it the echoes of a heartfelt farewell and the enduring promise of a bond that transcended the limitations of space and time. The hyperspace jump spat them out near Coruscant, the familiar cityscape a stark contrast to the vibrant landscapes of Deku's world. Anakin felt the familiar tug of the Force, a comforting presence after the relative quiet of the journey. Yet, the comfort was tinged with a profound sadness. He was home, yet a part of him remained on that distant planet, with the young hero whose spirit had touched him deeply. He disembarked, the bustling Coruscant streets a cacophony of sounds and sights after the peaceful serenity he'd left behind. The crowd surged around him, a wave of humanity washing over him, yet he felt strangely isolated, a solitary figure adrift in a sea of faces. He missed the quiet companionship, the unspoken understanding that had blossomed between him and Deku. It was a connection that transcended language, culture, and even the vast expanse of space. The Jedi Temple loomed before him, a majestic structure of white stone and intricate architecture. It was home, a place of training and belonging, yet it felt different now, somehow emptier. He'd returned with a deeper understanding of the Force, a perspective broadened by his time on Earth, a perspective that stemmed from Deku's unwavering belief in the goodness of humanity. It was a stark contrast to the cynicism he had sometimes felt within the rigid structure of the Jedi Order. He sought out Master Yoda, the diminutive Jedi Master, a repository of wisdom and patience. Yoda sensed the change in Anakin, the subtle shift in his demeanor, the quiet contemplation that veiled a deeper emotional landscape. "Much you have learned, young Skywalker," Yoda said, his voice a gentle rasp, "yet much more there is to learn." Anakin nodded, his eyes betraying the weight of his unspoken thoughts. He recounted his experiences, not just the technical mastery of the Force, but the profound impact Deku had made on his perspective. He spoke of the unwavering hope, the quiet strength, the unwavering compassion that shone so brightly within the young hero. Yoda listened patiently, his wise eyes reflecting the depth of Anakin's emotions. "Balance, young one, it is what we strive for," Yoda said, tapping his staff against the floor. "The dark and the light, the hope and the despair, they are all part of the journey. What you learned on this Earth, it will serve you well, as it will serve the galaxy." Anakin felt a sense of validation in Yoda's words, a confirmation that his journey had been worthwhile. It wasn't just about mastering lightsaber combat or controlling the Force, it was about understanding the complexities of the universe, the nuances of human emotion, the enduring power of hope. Deku had been his teacher in this unexpected lesson, a silent guide who had led him to a deeper understanding of himself and his place in the galaxy. The days that followed were a blur of Jedi training, interspersed with moments of quiet reflection. He found himself recalling his conversations with Deku, the shared laughter, the unspoken understanding, the quiet moments of shared contemplation. It was a bond forged in adversity, a connection that transcended worlds. He carried a part of that world with him, a piece of Deku etched into his memory. He began incorporating some of Deku's strategies into his training, recognizing the underlying principles of his techniques. It wasn't just about copying moves, it was about understanding the philosophy behind them, the resilience, the unwavering determination, the compassion that drove the young hero. He found himself using techniques that emphasized calculated strategies over raw power, a subtle shift in approach stemming from his time on Earth. His lightsaber training also took on a new dimension. He had always been powerful, but now he was more precise, more controlled, his movements imbued with a sense of grace and elegance that reflected his deepened understanding of the Force. His mastery of the lightsaber had always been impressive, but now it was imbued with a quiet confidence, a mastery honed not just through rigorous training but through the experiences of his journey. He started to incorporate Deku's approach to heroism into his own Jedi philosophy. Deku's relentless optimism, even in the face of insurmountable odds, his capacity for empathy, his ability to see beyond the surface, had all impacted him. The heroism Anakin embodied would be different now, shaped not only by the Jedi Order but by the enduring lessons learned on a planet light years away. The Jedi Council remained largely unaware of the details of Anakin's journey. Anakin maintained a respectful silence, choosing to share only the essential information concerning his mastery of the Force, yet the transformative experience remained deeply personal. However, the subtle changes in Anakin's approach to training, his demeanor, his combat strategies, they were all indicative of a profound shift in his perspective. A shift that the more perceptive members of the Council sensed without fully understanding. His improved skills reflected more than just technical improvements, they reflected a growth in wisdom and understanding, a maturity that transcended the physical. Evenings were often spent meditating, not just focusing on the Force, but reflecting on the profound impact of his friendship with Deku. It was during these times that he felt the deepest pull of nostalgia, the sharp ache of missing his unlikely companion. The quiet moments of reflection were often filled with a wistful longing for the vibrant world he'd left behind. The galaxy remained vast and unforgiving. The shadows of the Sith lingered, a constant reminder of the darkness that threatened to engulf the Republic. But Anakin carried within him a new strength, a resilience born from his journey to Earth, a hope nurtured by his unlikely friendship with Deku. It was a hope that burned brightly within him, a beacon in the darkness, a strength that would serve him well in the battles yet to come. The challenges ahead would be significant, but the lessons learned and the friendship forged would be the constant guiding lights, leading him through the darkest of times. The journey had changed him, profoundly, permanently, irrevocably. But in that change, Anakin found a new clarity, a new understanding of his role in the galaxy, and his heart, though heavy with the bittersweet goodbye, held fast to the memory of the friendship that had redefined his understanding of hope, heroism, and the boundless power of the human spirit. The Force was strong with him, but it was strengthened now by an experience that transcended the galaxy itself, a testament to the powerful connection between two souls, across the vast expanse of space and time. He was ready for whatever lay ahead, prepared not just with his lightsaber and the Force, but with a renewed sense of purpose and a heart filled with the unwavering hope kindled by his time on Earth. The farewell had been a turning point, not an ending, a stepping stone to the larger destiny that awaited him in the galaxy far, far away. Chapter 7, Changed Hero. The hum of the city faded as Deku sat on the rooftop of his apartment building, the familiar cityscape stretching out before him like a familiar, comforting blanket. The night air, crisp and cool, carried the faint scent of rain, a smell that always reminded him of the day Anakin had first arrived. It felt like a lifetime ago, yet the memories remained vivid, sharp, as if etched into the very fabric of his being. He traced the scar on his arm, a faint reminder of the battle against the Nomu, a battle that had brought Anakin into his life, a battle that had irrevocably changed the course of both their destinies. Anakin Skywalker, a Jedi Knight from a galaxy far, far away. The name still sounded surreal, a fantastical tale from a storybook, yet the reality of their shared experiences remained powerfully tangible. He chuckled softly, remembering Anakin's initial bewilderment at the quirks of his world, the sheer incredulity on his face when Deku first used one for all. The cultural differences, initially a source of amusement, had quickly given way to a deep, unspoken understanding, a bond forged in the crucible of shared struggle and mutual respect. He thought about their training sessions, the relentless sparring that pushed both of them to their limits. Anakin, with his elegant lightsaber techniques, his intuitive grasp of the Force, was a formidable opponent. But it wasn't just the physical prowess that had impressed Deku, it was Anakin's unwavering commitment to justice, his compassion, his deep-seated belief in the goodness of others, even in the face of overwhelming darkness. Anakin had challenged him, pushed him to hone his own skills, to refine his strategies, to develop a deeper understanding of his own capabilities. Deku had learned from Anakin's grace, his precise movements, the way he channeled his power with a profound sense of control. He had integrated aspects of Anakin's approach into his own fighting style, adding a layer of calculated precision to his already formidable strength. He had learned more than just fighting techniques, however. He had learned about hope, about resilience, about the importance of never giving up, even when faced with seemingly insurmountable odds. Anakin's faith in the Force, his unshakable belief in the power of good, had resonated deep within Deku's own heart. It had strengthened his own conviction, fueling his determination to protect others, to strive for a better future for all. Anakin's belief in him, his unwavering faith in Deku's ability to overcome any obstacle, had been a source of immense strength, a beacon of hope that illuminated his path even in the darkest of moments. The memory of their final conversation lingered in his mind, the bittersweet farewell as Anakin prepared to return to his own world. The parting had been tinged with a profound sadness, a sense of loss that echoed the emptiness Deku felt after All Might's retirement. Yet, There was also a sense of gratitude, a deep appreciation for the bond they had formed, the impact their shared journey had had on each other's lives. Anakin's departure had left a void, a silence that sometimes felt deafening. But it wasn't a void filled with despair, but with the echoes of laughter, of shared victories, of a friendship that had transcended worlds and galaxies. He recalled Anakin's words, his promise to carry a part of Deku's world with him, to remember their time together, to let Deku's unwavering hope be a guiding light in the darkness that threatened his galaxy. The thought warmed him, a comforting ember in the stillness of the night. He knew that Anakin's journey was far from over. The galaxy far, far away faced its own challenges, its own battles against darkness. But Deku felt a deep sense of satisfaction knowing that a part of him, his spirit, his unwavering hope, would accompany Anakin on that journey. It was a unique kind of heroism, the kind that wasn't about grand gestures or flashy displays of power, but about the quiet influence one person could have on another, the subtle yet profound impact of a single friendship. Deku thought about his own life, the challenges he faced, the responsibilities he bore as the symbol of hope for his generation. His world, too, was full of darkness, of villains who sought to spread chaos and despair. But he was no longer alone in his fight. He carried within him the lessons he learned from Anakin, the strength he gained from their shared struggles, the unwavering hope that illuminated his path. He had embraced Anakin's teachings about balance, not just in his fighting style, but in his approach to life. He had learned to temper his impulsive nature, to think strategically, to rely on his instincts while maintaining control. He stood up, the cool night air invigorating him. The city lights twinkled below, a million points of light reflecting the infinite possibilities that lay ahead. He was no longer just Deku, the successor of All Might. He was Deku, the friend of a Jedi Knight, a young hero who had touched a galaxy far, far away. He was a beacon of hope, not just for his world, but for the countless others, perhaps, even for Anakin himself, reminding him of the unwavering light even in the darkest corners of the universe. The bond they formed was a testament to the enduring power of friendship, of shared experience, of the resilience of the human spirit. It was a bond that transcended worlds, a testament to the universal nature of hope, heroism, and the indomitable strength of the human heart. And as he looked out at the city, he knew, with a certainty that resonated deep within his soul, that their journey, while physically separated, continued, a silent narrative woven into the very fabric of the universe. He would continue to fight for justice, for peace, for a better tomorrow, fueled by the memory of his friendship with Anakin, a friendship that had altered the course of his life forever. He inhaled deeply, the night air filling his lungs, carrying with it the scent of rain and the faint echo of a galaxy far, far away. The scar on his arm, a constant reminder of his past, now served as a badge of honor, a symbol of his growth, his resilience, his unwavering belief in the power of hope. He was ready. He was changed. He was stronger. He was Deku. And he would continue to fight, for himself, for his world, and for the memory of the unlikely friendship that had forever changed him. The journey had ended, but the legacy continued. The galaxy far, far away might be distant, but the connection remained, a silent promise etched into the stars, a bond as strong and enduring as the human spirit itself. He smiled, a gentle, knowing smile, the faint glow of the city lights reflecting in his determined eyes. The night was long, but the path ahead was clear, illuminated by the enduring flame of hope that had been kindled by an unlikely friendship, across the vast expanse of space and time. And in that hope, he found strength, purpose, and the unwavering belief in the power of a single hero, wherever that hero might be, in whatever galaxy they might reside. The journey had changed him, yes, but it had also strengthened him, prepared him, equipped him to face whatever challenges lay ahead. He was Deku, and he was ready. The following weeks were a whirlwind of intense training. Deku, spurred by Anakin's departure and the lingering weight of his teachings, pushed himself harder than ever before. He no longer relied solely on brute strength and overwhelming power. Anakin's emphasis on precision, control, and strategic thinking had sunk deep, altering his very approach to combat. Gone were the reckless, impulsive charges he'd been prone to in the past. In their place was a calculated precision, a dance of controlled power. He spent hours practicing kata, mimicking Anakin's fluid lightsaber movements with his own quirk-enhanced agility. He visualized the Force, attempting to understand how Anakin's innate connection to it enhanced his actions. While he couldn't manipulate energy fields in the same way, he found himself instinctively anticipating opponents' moves, predicting their attacks with an uncanny accuracy. It was as if a sixth sense had awakened within him, a subtle intuition that guided his every movement. His fights with All Might's successors, those who sought to prove themselves worthy, to perhaps fill the void he himself was learning to navigate, were no longer tests of raw power. They became intricate ballets of strategy and skill, a dance of careful calculated moves, the result of a painstaking integration of Anakin's teachings into his own unique fighting style. He learned to conserve energy, to strike only when necessary, to use his opponent's momentum against them. Each encounter was a lesson, a chance to refine his techniques, to perfect the blend of his natural abilities and Anakin's refined methods. One particular sparring session with Bakugo stands out. Bakugo, always fueled by intense rivalry and aggressive power, had been his greatest challenge. Their clashes were legendary, explosions clashing with bursts of overwhelming speed, a dramatic cacophony of power. But this time, it was different. Deku didn't meet Bakugo's explosive force with equal force. Instead, he moved with a newfound grace, a calculated precision that surprised even Bakugo. He anticipated Bakugo's attacks, dodging explosions with barely a hair's breadth to spare, using his enhanced agility to weave through the chaos, creating openings where there seemed to be none. He struck with surgical precision, calculated blows that, while not as powerful as Bakugo's explosions, were expertly aimed, landing with pinpoint accuracy on pressure points, causing Bakugo to stumble and falter. Bakugo, for the first time in their many confrontations, was taken aback. He hadn't expected this level of skill, this calculated control. He wasn't used to his explosive power being so elegantly countered. The usual relentless exchange of power became a strategic chess match, a test of minds as much as of muscles. Deku's newly honed ability to read his opponent's movements allowed him to wear Bakugo down, his stamina depleted by his attempts to break through Deku's improved defenses. Later, sitting on a bench, catching his breath, Bakugo admitted, grudgingly of course, "You're different." His voice, usually sharp and full of arrogant bravado, held a hint of respect, even admiration. It was a testament to the significant shift in Deku's fighting style, a shift entirely attributable to Anakin's tutelage. The change wasn't limited to the battlefield. Anakin's emphasis on balance extended to every aspect of Deku's life. He found himself approaching his responsibilities as a hero with greater patience and foresight, less prone to impulsiveness. He listened more attentively, understanding that true strength lay not just in power but in empathy and understanding. He began to mediate conflicts more effectively, using diplomacy where force was previously his only option. He learned to discern when to act decisively and when to retreat strategically, a lesson learned the hard way from his confrontations with All for One. He found himself able to balance his duty to his city and its citizens with the need to protect his own well-being, recognizing that a burned-out hero was of no use to anyone. His relationship with his friends also benefited from this newfound approach. He became a better listener, more understanding of their individual struggles. He learned to articulate his feelings more effectively, allowing for deeper, more meaningful connections. He appreciated their strengths, encouraging and supporting them instead of always placing the weight of expectation upon himself. This change was subtle, but profound, weaving its way into the fabric of his interactions, leaving a lasting mark on his relationships with his friends and colleagues. One evening, while patrolling the city, Deku encountered a group of villains causing mischief in a park. Previously, he would have charged head-on, unleashing the full force of One for All. But this time, he approached cautiously, observing their actions, assessing their strengths and weaknesses. He utilized the environment to his advantage, using the park's layout to his benefit, controlling the fight's flow, directing the villains toward less populated areas and minimizing collateral damage. He apprehended them not with overwhelming force, but with calculated precision, disabling them with strategic strikes that minimized harm. The villains were surprised by this approach, disoriented by Deku's calculated maneuvers and his precise use of his power. Later, at the police station, the officers were amazed by Deku's calm demeanor and his innovative approach. They were impressed not only by his efficiency but also by the minimal disruption to the city's routine, a direct result of his newly developed tactical awareness and control. The incident highlighted the extent of Anakin's influence on him. He was no longer just a powerful symbol of hope, he was a strategic mind, a tactical genius, a true leader in every sense of the word. The transformation was gradual, a silent shift that wasn't immediately obvious. It was in the subtle changes, the minor adjustments in his movements, the careful planning that preceded his actions, the calm consideration that replaced his sometimes impulsive reactions. He was stronger, yes, but not just physically. He was stronger mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. He had internalized Anakin's teachings, not just as combat strategies, but as a philosophy of life. As he looked out over the cityscape, a newfound sense of peace settled over him. The city, once a daunting arena of responsibility, now felt like a manageable challenge. He felt more in control, less burdened by the constant pressure to be perfect. He understood that heroism wasn't about flawless victories but about the relentless pursuit of justice, about doing the right thing, even in the face of overwhelming odds. He had come a long way since the day Anakin Skywalker first arrived in his world. The memory of Anakin's farewell, of their shared laughter and profound understanding, strengthened his resolve. He carried the weight of Anakin's words, the Jedi Knight's faith in him echoing in his heart, a constant reminder that even the smallest act of kindness, the smallest display of hope, can ripple outwards, touching countless lives and making a significant difference in the world. He knew that Anakin's journey was far from over, but his own path was clear. He would continue to strive for a better future, not just for his world, but for all worlds, carrying with him the enduring lessons of friendship, hope, and the unwavering pursuit of justice. He was Deku, changed, but unyielding, a hero who had touched a galaxy far, far away, and a galaxy far, far closer to home. His journey had just begun. The following months tested Deku in ways he couldn't have anticipated. Anakin's departure had left a void, but it was a void filled not with despair, but with a potent cocktail of determination and newfound confidence. His enhanced abilities, honed by Anakin's rigorous training, were no longer solely focused on raw power. He now possessed a strategic mind, a keen understanding of battlefield tactics, and an uncanny ability to anticipate his opponent's moves. This was evident in a series of high-profile villain encounters. A coordinated attack by a group known as the Nomu Syndicate, known for their unpredictable and devastating quirks, forced Deku to utilize every skill he had learned. Instead of rushing headlong into battle, he observed their patterns, identifying weak points in their coordinated attacks. He used the city's infrastructure, rooftops, alleyways, even construction cranes, as tactical advantages, maneuvering the Nomu into strategically disadvantageous positions before finally subduing them, minimizing civilian casualties. His performance was lauded not only for its effectiveness but also for its unprecedented strategic brilliance. This tactical approach extended beyond physical combat. Deku found himself increasingly involved in mediating disputes, resolving conflicts between different factions within the city, utilizing his enhanced perception to understand the underlying causes of the conflicts and then proposing solutions that address the core issues. His empathetic approach, born from Anakin's teachings on understanding others' perspectives, proved surprisingly effective. Even Bakugo, who remained his constant sparring partner and rival, found himself impressed, though he'd never admit it outright. Their battles now resembled a meticulously choreographed dance, each blow calculated, each movement deliberate, a far cry from their earlier explosive clashes. Deku's ability to anticipate Bakugo's attacks, to predict the trajectory of his explosions with unnerving accuracy, showcased his mastery of the subtle art of observation and anticipation. Their rivalry, once purely competitive, transformed into a mutual respect born out of shared adversity and a grudging admiration for each other's skills. A significant opportunity arose when a series of strange anomalies began to occur across the city. These weren't the usual villain attacks, these were bizarre distortions of reality, pockets of space-time warped and twisted, creating unstable zones that threatened to destabilize the very fabric of the city. The seasoned heroes of the city were baffled, their conventional methods proving ineffective against these unpredictable phenomena. It was Deku, drawing on Anakin's knowledge of the Force and his own heightened intuition, who proposed a solution. He realized these anomalies were akin to the disturbances in the Force that Anakin had described, albeit on a smaller, localized scale. He hypothesized that a concentrated source of energy, perhaps a rogue quirk or an unknown technological device, was the root cause. Using his enhanced senses, he tracked the source to a derelict power plant on the city's outskirts. The plant was shrouded in a shimmering, unstable energy field, crackling with unpredictable bursts of power. Inside, he discovered a malfunctioning experimental device, radiating chaotic energy that was warping reality around it. While other heroes hesitated, fearful of the unstable energy field, Deku, remembering Anakin's teachings on using the Force to control energy, stepped forward. He didn't attempt to directly confront the energy, instead, he used his quirk-enhanced agility and his refined understanding of energy flow to carefully redirect the chaotic energy, channeling it into stable pathways, gradually neutralizing its disruptive effects. The process was painstakingly slow, requiring meticulous precision and unwavering focus. He had to channel the energy with the exact amount of force, to control its flow to redirect it. One wrong move could have resulted in a catastrophic release of energy, potentially destroying the entire plant and causing widespread devastation. But Deku persevered, fueled by his determination and Anakin's belief in him. He utilized his own internal energy alongside his own quirk, finding a harmonious balance between his own power and the chaotic energy he was attempting to control, a feat that surprised even the most seasoned scientists observing his efforts. After hours of intense work, Deku succeeded in stabilizing the device and neutralizing the energy field. The anomalies across the city vanished, replaced by the normal flow of space-time. His actions showcased not just his raw power, but also his ability to strategically use his newfound knowledge and skills, a testament to the transformative effect of Anakin's tutelage. The incident catapulted Deku to a new level of recognition, not just as a powerful symbol of hope, but as a strategic mastermind, a hero who could transcend conventional limitations and find solutions to problems that others could not. The media hailed him as Deku, the strategist, a title he found both flattering and slightly awkward. His enhanced abilities and strategic thinking didn't merely benefit the city, they also profoundly impacted his personal life. His relationship with his friends deepened, his understanding of their feelings and struggles becoming more acute. He was no longer burdened by the constant need to be the perfect hero, allowing him to form more genuine connections with Ochako, Ida, and even Bakugo. He learned to delegate tasks more effectively, understanding that he couldn't always be the solution to every problem. He empowered his friends, encouraging their growth and development, recognizing their individual strengths. This newfound trust and cooperation within the group made them an even more formidable team, capable of tackling greater challenges with increased effectiveness. But Deku's journey wasn't without its setbacks. A new villain, a shadowy figure known only as the Void, emerged, possessing an ability to absorb and manipulate quirks. This villain presented a unique challenge, one that tested Deku's abilities in unprecedented ways. The Void's quirk wasn't just about absorbing power, it was about absorbing the very essence of a person's ability, leaving the victim vulnerable and powerless. Deku's initial encounters with the Void ended in frustration, his own quirk proving ineffective against this new threat. The Void seemed to anticipate his every move, to absorb his attacks before they even landed. The Void's attacks were not purely physical, they were psychological, designed to break down Deku's resolve, to erode his confidence. The Void whispered doubts into Deku's mind, reminding him of past failures, playing on his insecurities, attempting to sow seeds of self-doubt. It was a battle not just of strength and skill, but of will and determination, a test of his mental fortitude. Deku found himself retreating, questioning his abilities, grappling with a sense of helplessness he hadn't experienced before. He sought guidance from his friends and mentors, desperately trying to find a way to counter the Void's devastating quirk. It was All Might's successor, a young hero with a powerful empathy-based quirk, who provided the breakthrough. He suggested that Deku focus on not merely overpowering the Void, but on understanding the villain's motivation, on empathizing with their pain. He pointed out that true heroism wasn't just about defeating opponents, but about understanding the root of their evil. Deku found himself wrestling with the concept, forcing himself to delve deeper into the nature of the Void's attacks. He studied the villain's past, attempting to understand the source of the Void's immense power. He realized that the Void's ability wasn't a mere quirk, but a manifestation of a deep-seated emotional trauma, a desperate attempt to fill a void within the villain's own life. Armed with this new understanding, Deku prepared for his final confrontation with the Void. He didn't attack with overwhelming power, instead, he approached the villain with empathy, attempting to connect with the emotional pain driving the villain's actions. He didn't attempt to defeat the Void, but to help them understand that their pain could be healed. It was a long and arduous process, requiring unwavering patience and a profound ability to understand others. The confrontation wasn't a battle of might but a battle of wills, of empathy and understanding. Ultimately, through compassion and shared understanding, Deku managed to help the Void confront their trauma, ultimately neutralizing their destructive ability. The victory wasn't a physical triumph, it was a victory of the human spirit, a triumph of understanding over destruction. The incident solidified Deku's position as a leader, not just in the realm of combat but also in the realm of healing and compassion. His journey continued, a testament to his resilience, his growth, and his unwavering commitment to justice. His path, once solely defined by power, now embraced a broader spectrum of skills, strategies, and compassion, making him a truly exceptional hero. The aftermath of the Void's defeat left Deku profoundly changed. The victory hadn't been a spectacular display of raw power, but a quiet triumph of understanding, a testament to the power of empathy. He'd stared into the abyss of another's despair and, instead of recoiling in fear, had offered a hand, a bridge of compassion across the chasm of pain. This experience, more than any battle he had fought, shaped him, forging a new level of resolve within his soul. It was a resolve that transcended mere strength, it was a resolve born of empathy, resilience, and a deeper understanding of the human condition. The city, once again safe, buzzed with renewed energy. The media hailed Deku as a symbol not just of strength but of compassion, a beacon of hope in a world often consumed by darkness. He received countless awards and accolades, but these honors felt secondary to the profound internal shift he had undergone. The weight of responsibility, once a crushing burden, now felt different, less oppressive. He had learned to share the load, to trust his friends, to delegate tasks and empower others. His relationship with Bakugo, in particular, had reached a new plateau. Their sparring sessions were still fierce, still driven by a competitive spirit, but beneath the surface lay a grudging respect, a shared understanding born of mutual challenges overcome. One quiet evening, sitting on a rooftop overlooking the city lights, Deku reflected on his journey. He thought of Anakin, his mentor, whose memory pulsed like a guiding star in his heart. Anakin's training had not just honed his physical abilities, it had instilled in him a deep understanding of strategy, a tactical mind that allowed him to anticipate and adapt. But more importantly, Anakin had taught him the importance of understanding the heart of the matter, the emotional currents that flowed beneath the surface of any conflict. It was this lesson that had allowed him to defeat the void, not with brute force, but with understanding and compassion. He realized that his journey with Anakin hadn't ended with Anakin's departure, it had continued, evolving and transforming him in ways he couldn't have foreseen. He had learned to channel his powers, to refine his techniques, to integrate his own quirk with the strategic mind Anakin had helped him cultivate. The fusion of his enhanced abilities and his strategic thinking was a powerful combination, one that had allowed him to confront challenges that had seemed insurmountable before. His strategic thinking extended beyond the battlefield. He found himself increasingly involved in city planning, proposing innovative solutions to long-standing infrastructure problems. He used his enhanced perception to analyze traffic flow, identifying bottlenecks and suggesting improvements that minimized congestion and increased efficiency. His approach wasn't merely based on technical expertise, he took into consideration the needs and concerns of the city's citizens, ensuring that his solutions were both effective and socially responsible. His ability to synthesize complex information, to understand the interwoven relationships between different systems, impressed city officials. They started seeking his input on a wide range of issues, recognizing his ability to identify creative solutions that others overlooked. Deku's enhanced senses also played a crucial role in disaster prevention. His heightened perception allowed him to detect subtle shifts in the environment, identifying potential hazards before they escalated into major crises. He developed a sophisticated early warning system, using his enhanced senses to monitor seismic activity, weather patterns, and even subtle changes in the city's infrastructure. His ability to predict potential problems and propose preventative measures saved countless lives and prevented significant damage. His actions were not just reactive but proactive, reflecting a maturity and foresight that went beyond his years. This heightened awareness extended to his personal relationships. He was more attuned to the emotional needs of his friends, offering support and understanding without being overly intrusive. He learned to listen more than he spoke, to truly hear the unspoken words, the silent anxieties that often lay beneath the surface of everyday interactions. His friendships deepened, strengthened by a shared understanding, a mutual respect born from shared experiences and challenges overcome. His empathy wasn't just a tool for heroism, it was the foundation of his relationships, fostering genuine connection and trust. But Deku didn't rest on his laurels. He continued to train rigorously, pushing himself to refine his abilities and expand his knowledge. He spent hours studying ancient texts, seeking knowledge beyond the conventional boundaries of his world. He delved into the history of his quirk, researching its origins and potential, seeking to understand its full capabilities. He also continued to study Anakin's teachings, revisiting his notes, poring over the tactical manuals Anakin had left behind. He discovered hidden depths within the lessons, subtle nuances he hadn't grasped before. He practiced his strategic thinking, playing out hypothetical scenarios in his mind, testing his abilities to adapt to unexpected challenges. His resolve wasn't just about strength, it was about resilience, the ability to bounce back from setbacks, to learn from mistakes, and to keep moving forward. He faced new challenges with a newfound confidence, understanding that even failure was a learning experience, a stepping stone towards future success. He understood that the path to heroism was not a straight line, it was a winding road, full of twists and turns, setbacks and triumphs, but the journey was the essence of his growth. The city's continued safety wasn't solely dependent on Deku's individual abilities. He understood the importance of teamwork, of empowering others, of fostering a collaborative environment where everyone could contribute their unique talents. He mentored younger heroes, sharing his knowledge and experience, guiding them on their own journeys. He worked with scientists and engineers, helping them develop new technologies and strategies to combat emerging threats. He recognized that true heroism wasn't about individual glory, it was about building a strong, resilient community, a network of individuals working together to create a safer, more just world. Deku's journey was far from over. New challenges would undoubtedly emerge, new villains would rise to test his limits. But he faced the future with unwavering resolve, a quiet confidence born from his past experiences, a deep understanding of his abilities, and a profound empathy for the human condition. The boy who once trembled under the weight of expectation had become a symbol of hope, a leader, a strategist, a compassionate hero, forever changed by his journey and ever evolving in his pursuit of justice. His story was a testament to the transformative power of resilience, empathy, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. The path of a hero was a path of constant growth and learning, and Deku was committed to walking that path with unwavering resolve, his spirit undimmed, his heart filled with hope. The rhythmic clang of metal against metal echoed in the early morning hours, a familiar soundtrack to Deku's rigorous training regimen. He moved with a fluid grace, a seamless blend of power and precision, each movement honed by years of dedicated practice and Anakin's rigorous tutelage. But this wasn't just physical training, it was a meditation, a process of self-discovery, a continuous refinement of his abilities. He wasn't simply repeating drills, he was exploring the limits of his quirk, pushing beyond the boundaries of what he thought possible. Anakin's teachings weren't confined to the physical realm. They permeated every aspect of Deku's life, shaping his strategic thinking, influencing his decision-making, and profoundly impacting his empathy. He revisited Anakin's tactical manuals, poring over the detailed strategies, studying the subtle nuances of each battle plan. He discovered new layers of meaning in Anakin's notes, insights he'd missed during his initial training. Anakin's emphasis on understanding the enemy, on recognizing their motivations and fears, resonated deeply with Deku. It was this understanding, this empathy, that had allowed him to overcome the void, not through brute force but through connection. He applied this understanding to his role as a city planner. His proposals weren't merely technical solutions, they were carefully crafted strategies that considered the emotional needs and concerns of the city's inhabitants. He envisioned a city that wasn't just functional but also vibrant, a community where everyone felt safe, valued, and heard. He organized community meetings, listening to the concerns of residents, incorporating their feedback into his plans. He understood that a city was more than just buildings and infrastructure, it was a living organism, a collection of interconnected individuals whose well-being was intrinsically linked. His enhanced senses, a legacy of his quirk and Anakin's training, allowed him to detect problems before they escalated into crises. He established an early warning system that monitored everything from seismic activity to subtle shifts in public sentiment. He used his heightened awareness not only to predict potential disasters but also to identify social tensions, areas of conflict, and emerging needs within the community. His approach was proactive, preventative, and deeply empathetic. One day, while analyzing traffic patterns, he noticed a surge in accidents in a particular area. His enhanced hearing picked up hushed conversations, anxieties expressed in whispers. He discovered that a new highway construction project had disrupted established community routes, creating confusion and frustration among residents. Instead of simply addressing the traffic issue with a technical solution, he organized a public forum, actively listening to the concerns of the affected residents. He collaborated with community leaders, finding creative solutions that addressed both the traffic congestion and the emotional distress caused by the construction. His relationship with Bakugo continued to evolve. Their rivalry was still present, their sparring sessions still fiercely competitive, but the underlying tension had been replaced by a deep respect. They understood each other's strengths and weaknesses, not just in battle, but as individuals. They had shared experiences, overcome challenges together, and forged a bond based on mutual respect and shared sacrifice. Bakugo, initially resistant to Deku's compassionate leadership, found himself increasingly drawn to his friend's unwavering commitment to justice and unwavering empathy. Deku's mentorship of younger heroes became a central part of his life. He shared Anakin's teachings, adapting them to the unique challenges faced by each individual. He emphasized not just the physical aspects of heroism but also the emotional resilience needed to cope with the pressures of the job. He taught them the importance of strategy, the need to analyze situations carefully, and the value of teamwork. He reminded them that heroism wasn't about individual glory but about making a positive impact on the world, one life at a time. His legacy wasn't merely about his individual accomplishments. It was about the ripple effect of his actions, the inspiration he provided to others. He inspired scientists to develop advanced technologies, city planners to adopt innovative solutions, and citizens to become more actively involved in their community. His legacy was woven into the fabric of the city, a testament to the power of compassionate leadership and the enduring influence of Anakin's teachings. Deku's journey had been shaped by loss, by the sacrifices he had made, and by the profound influence of Anakin. He had learned to channel his pain, transforming it into a driving force for good. His path wasn't a linear progression, it was a series of trials, tribulations, and transformative experiences. He'd learned from his mistakes, embraced his vulnerabilities, and grown into a leader who embodied the values of compassion, resilience, and unwavering hope. He understood that true heroism wasn't about eliminating all darkness but about illuminating the world with the unwavering light of hope, empathy, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. The years that followed brought new challenges, new villains, and new opportunities for Deku to showcase his evolving abilities and unwavering compassion. He never forgot Anakin's lessons, carrying them as guiding principles throughout his life. He continued to train rigorously, constantly refining his techniques and expanding his understanding of his quirk. He remained deeply involved in city planning, using his strategic mind and enhanced senses to create a safer, more sustainable community. He continued to mentor younger heroes, guiding them on their own journeys and instilling in them the same values of compassion and resilience that had shaped his own life. He understood that the fight for justice was a continuous journey, a marathon, not a sprint. There would always be new threats, new obstacles, new challenges to overcome. But he faced the future with quiet confidence, knowing that he had the skills, the knowledge, and the unwavering support of his friends and allies to overcome any challenge. His journey had been one of constant learning, adaptation, and growth. He remained steadfast in his commitment to justice, a beacon of hope for the city and an inspiration to the next generation of heroes. Anakin's legacy lived on, not just in Deku's actions, but in the countless lives he touched and the positive change he inspired. His story was a testament to the enduring power of hope, resilience, and the transformative potential of a compassionate heart. The city, once threatened by the void, flourished under Deku's compassionate leadership. The infrastructure improvements he implemented had not only made the city more efficient but also had fostered a greater sense of community among its citizens. His early warning system proved invaluable, averting numerous potential disasters and saving countless lives. His mentorship of younger heroes had resulted in the emergence of a new generation of skilled and compassionate protectors. Deku, once a young boy overwhelmed by the weight of expectation, had become a symbol of hope, a beacon of light in a world often consumed by darkness. His journey had been long and arduous, filled with challenges, setbacks, and moments of profound loss. But through it all, he had remained steadfast in his commitment to justice, always striving to make the world a better place. His legacy was not just about his individual accomplishments, but about the ripple effect of his compassion, the inspiration he provided to others, and the profound impact he had on the lives of so many. His story served as a powerful reminder that even in the darkest of times, hope can prevail, and that the human spirit, when fueled by compassion and resilience, is capable of achieving extraordinary things. The enduring legacy of Anakin Skywalker, woven into the fabric of Deku's life, served as a constant reminder of the importance of empathy, understanding, and the unwavering pursuit of justice. Deku's journey, far from over, continued to unfold, each new challenge presenting an opportunity for growth, learning, and the reaffirmation of his unwavering commitment to a better future. Chapter 8, Lift After Anakin. The sunrise painted the cityscape in hues of orange and gold, a familiar sight that once held a mundane quality, now imbued with a newfound appreciation. Deku woke not with a jolt of adrenaline, the lingering echo of a lightsaber battle, but with a gentle ease, the quiet hum of the city his lullaby. His enhanced hearing, once a source of overwhelming sensory input during the crisis, now allowed him to appreciate the subtle symphony of urban life, the chirping of birds, the distant rumble of traffic, the murmur of conversations filtering through open windows. He started his day as he always had, with a rigorous training regimen. But the training itself felt different. Gone was the desperate urgency, the constant pressure to improve, to be stronger, faster, better. The familiar movements, honed over years of relentless practice, now possessed a fluidity, a grace born of inner peace. Each strike, each block, each perfectly executed maneuver was not just a display of physical prowess but a testament to his self-mastery, a reflection of the calm that had settled within him. He found himself spending more time meditating during his training, focusing on the breath, on the connection between his body and mind. This wasn't just physical exercise, it was a form of introspection, a pathway to deeper understanding. Anakin's lessons on inner strength, on harnessing the power of the Force, echoed in the quiet rhythm of his movements. His work as a city planner continued, but his approach had subtly shifted. He still approached each project with meticulous detail and strategic planning, Anakin's tactical manual still open on his desk. Yet, the focus had shifted from mere efficiency to a deeper concern for the well-being of the citizens. His proposals, always carefully crafted to optimize infrastructure and resource allocation, now also incorporated a holistic understanding of community needs and emotional landscapes. He spent more time in community meetings, listening intently, not just to the spoken words but also to the unspoken anxieties, the hopes and dreams that lay beneath the surface. His enhanced senses, sharpened by Anakin's training, allowed him to detect subtle shifts in public sentiment, to identify areas of potential conflict before they escalated into full-blown crises. He initiated several new programs, focused on community building and mental health support. He established community gardens, places where residents could come together, cultivate connections, and find solace in the simple act of tending to the earth. He also created support groups for those who had experienced trauma during the Void incident, providing them with a safe space to share their stories and find healing. Anakin's teachings on empathy, on understanding the enemy's motivations, proved invaluable in this endeavor. He understood that true security wasn't just about physical protection, it was about fostering a sense of belonging, of connection, of shared purpose. His relationship with Bakugo deepened, their competitive sparring sessions now infused with a camaraderie forged in shared experiences. Their mutual respect, once a fragile seedling, had grown into a sturdy oak, capable of weathering any storm. They understood each other's strengths and weaknesses, not just in the physical realm but also in their emotional complexities. Their conversations extended beyond strategies and tactics, they shared their fears, their hopes, their vulnerabilities. Bakugo, once fiercely independent, found himself leaning on Deku's wisdom, on his unflappable calm, on his compassionate understanding. Their bond was a testament to their shared history, a symbol of their mutual growth and transformation. Deku's mentorship of younger heroes continued, his teaching style subtly influenced by Anakin's legacy. He still emphasized the physical training, the importance of mastering one's abilities, but he also dedicated a significant portion of his time to imparting the lessons of empathy, resilience, and strategic thinking. He instilled in them the value of teamwork, of understanding their allies' strengths and weaknesses. He taught them that heroism wasn't about individual glory but about serving the community, about making a difference in the lives of others. He shared Anakin's stories, not just as tales of heroism, but as lessons in compassion, self-sacrifice, and the eternal struggle between light and darkness. His daily routine, once a predictable rhythm, had become a tapestry woven with threads of mindfulness, compassion, and unwavering commitment. He still analyzed traffic patterns, still identified potential infrastructure problems, still engaged in the daily grind of city planning. But now, he did so with a heightened sense of purpose, driven by the profound understanding that his work was not simply about numbers and data but about the lives of the people he served. Even his leisure time reflected this transformation. He spent more time in quiet contemplation, revisiting Anakin's teachings, reflecting on their profound implications. He found himself sketching, pouring his emotions and thoughts onto canvas, capturing the city's beauty and resilience in vivid strokes. He took walks through the city's parks, his enhanced senses picking up the subtle details, the intricate interplay of nature and urban life, the hushed conversations of its inhabitants. One evening, while observing the city lights from his apartment balcony, he found himself feeling a profound sense of peace, a quiet contentment he had never experienced before. The city, once a stage for his battles against the void, now felt like a nurturing ecosystem, a living entity that pulsed with life, creativity, and resilience. The memories of the battles, the sacrifices, the loss, were still there, etched into his memory, but they no longer held the power to consume him. They had become a part of his story, shaping his character, strengthening his resolve. He had emerged from the crucible of the void not just stronger, but wiser, more compassionate, more deeply connected to the world around him. Anakin's influence permeated every aspect of his life, a guiding light that helped him navigate the complexities of his existence. He often found himself echoing Anakin's words, unconsciously applying his teachings to the daily challenges he faced. He saw Anakin not just as a teacher, but as a mentor, a friend, a guiding spirit whose legacy continued to inspire him. Deku understood that his journey wasn't over, that there would always be new challenges, new threats, new opportunities for growth. But now, he approached the future with unwavering confidence, with a deep understanding of his abilities, and with a compassionate heart fueled by the enduring lessons of Anakin Skywalker. His routine was not just a cycle of daily tasks, it was a pathway to self-discovery, a testament to the power of transformation, a beacon of hope in a world that desperately needed it. His story, far from complete, continued to unfold, each day a new chapter in his ongoing pursuit of justice, peace, and the unwavering illumination of the human spirit. The city flourished under his compassionate leadership, a testament to the enduring power of hope, empathy, and the transformative potential of a compassionate heart. The echoes of Anakin's lightsaber resonated not just in the past, but in the quiet strength of Deku's everyday actions, shaping his legacy and inspiring the future. The rhythmic clang of metal on metal, once a symbol of relentless training, had now become the soundtrack to a life lived with purpose, compassion, and unwavering hope. The following weeks were a whirlwind of activity. Deku, no longer burdened by the crushing weight of impending doom, found a new rhythm in his life, a symphony of purpose and action. His enhanced senses, honed to razor sharpness during his training with Anakin, became invaluable tools in his work as a city planner. He could anticipate traffic bottlenecks before they occurred, identify structural weaknesses in buildings before they became catastrophic, and even detect subtle shifts in public sentiment that hinted at potential unrest. One such incident involved a series of seemingly unrelated minor crimes in the lower districts: petty theft, vandalism, and minor assaults. To the untrained eye, these would be dismissed as isolated incidents. But Deku, through his heightened awareness, detected a pattern, a subtle undercurrent of discontent brewing beneath the surface of the city's calm exterior. He noticed an increase in whispered conversations, a palpable tension in the air, a change in the usual rhythm of the city's heartbeat. Using his enhanced hearing, he pieced together fragments of conversations, overheard anxieties about rising living costs and lack of job opportunities. He discerned the unspoken resentment, the simmering anger that was slowly boiling over. His analysis went beyond simple crime statistics. He delved into the emotional landscape of the affected communities, identifying the root causes of the unrest. It wasn't simply a matter of law enforcement, it was a systemic issue demanding a multifaceted solution. Working closely with Bakugo, whose explosive personality now found a constructive outlet in strategizing and problem-solving, Deku developed a comprehensive plan. It wasn't just about apprehending criminals, it was about addressing the underlying socio-economic factors driving the unrest. He proposed a series of initiatives aimed at improving living conditions, creating job opportunities, and fostering community engagement. He secured funding from the city council, his meticulous proposals backed by irrefutable data and a deep understanding of the community's needs. The plan involved establishing vocational training centers, providing subsidized housing, and creating community gardens similar to the ones he had initiated earlier. He also established youth programs, focusing on mentorship and conflict resolution, drawing upon Anakin's teachings on diplomacy and understanding opposing viewpoints. He recognized that true peace wasn't achieved solely through force, but through empathy, understanding, and collaborative problem-solving. Bakugo, surprisingly, took a lead role in mentoring some of the at-risk youth, his gruff exterior masking a surprisingly nurturing core. The transformation wasn't immediate, but it was palpable. As the city's infrastructure improved, and community initiatives flourished, the petty crimes gradually decreased. The sense of tension eased, replaced by a growing sense of hope and community spirit. Deku's work wasn't just about preventing crime, it was about building a stronger, more resilient, and more harmonious society. He became a symbol of hope for the city, a leader who understood the people he served, not just as statistics, but as individuals with hopes, dreams, and anxieties. His mentorship of young heroes continued, his training sessions becoming more than just physical exercises. He taught them the importance of empathy, the need to understand the motivations of their opponents, and the crucial role of strategic thinking in resolving conflicts. He shared Anakin's stories, not as mere tales of heroism but as parables on courage, resilience, and the ethical dilemmas inherent in wielding immense power. One young trainee, a bright but impetuous girl named Hana, struggled with the emotional toll of her work. She was haunted by the sights and sounds of her first encounter with the void, a traumatic experience that left her emotionally scarred. Deku, drawing from his own experiences and Anakin's teachings on mindfulness and emotional regulation, patiently guided her through her trauma. He helped her understand that acknowledging her fear wasn't a sign of weakness but a testament to her strength and resilience. He showed her how to channel her emotions constructively, converting her fear into focus, her trauma into empathy. Deku's artistic pursuits also flourished. He began a series of large-scale murals depicting the city's resilience, weaving together symbols of hope, unity, and renewal. These murals weren't just aesthetically pleasing, they were powerful symbols of the city's transformation, reminders of the community's strength and its capacity to overcome adversity. Each brushstroke was a testament to his journey, a reflection of his inner peace, and a beacon of hope for the citizens. He also initiated a citywide art competition for young people, encouraging them to express their feelings and experiences through creative mediums. The competition attracted a flood of entries, showcasing a vibrant spectrum of emotions and perspectives. The competition not only revealed latent artistic talents but fostered a sense of community and helped many young people process their experiences in a healthy and creative way. One evening, while attending a community gathering, Deku received a coded message, a cryptic sequence of numbers and symbols that only he could decipher. It was a warning, a hint of a new threat emerging on the horizon. The message didn't reveal specifics, but it conveyed a sense of urgency, a reminder that the fight for peace and justice was far from over. This new challenge spurred Deku to further refine his skills. He delved deeper into Anakin's teachings, studying ancient texts and forgotten techniques. He honed his strategic thinking, his tactical skills, and his understanding of the Force. He knew that the peace he had helped build was fragile, that vigilance was essential, and that his journey as a hero was far from complete. The city, once a battleground, now thrived under his compassionate leadership. He had not only rebuilt the physical infrastructure but had also mended the social fabric, fostering a community bound by mutual respect, understanding, and shared purpose. His daily routine was not merely a cycle of tasks, it was a symphony of compassion, resilience, and unwavering commitment to the well-being of the city and its inhabitants. The echoes of Anakin Skywalker's legacy resonated in his everyday actions, guiding him, inspiring him, and ensuring that his journey as a hero continued, transforming him and the world around him with each passing day. The sunrise, once a simple spectacle, now held a deeper meaning, a promise of new beginnings, a reminder that even after the darkest nights, hope, compassion and unwavering determination can bring forth a brighter dawn. The coded message, a cryptic sequence of numbers and symbols echoing Anakin's own clandestine communications, served as a stark reminder. The peace Deku had painstakingly built was not a permanent state, but a fragile equilibrium, susceptible to the slightest disruption. It was a testament to the enduring nature of conflict, a constant reminder that the fight for justice was a marathon, not a sprint. He spent sleepless nights poring over ancient Jedi texts, deciphering cryptic passages, seeking clues to the nature of the emerging threat. The weight of responsibility, heavier than any physical burden, settled upon his shoulders. Anakin's teachings, once abstract concepts, now manifested as practical guidelines. His strategic thinking, honed through countless simulations and real-world experiences, mirrored Anakin's own tactical brilliance. The Force, once a mystical power, now served as a sixth sense, an intuitive guide that allowed him to anticipate problems and navigate complex situations. He wasn't merely applying Anakin's lessons, he was embodying them, weaving them into the very fabric of his being. His daily routine, meticulously planned and executed, became a testament to Anakin's emphasis on discipline and self-improvement. Each morning began with meditation, a practice Anakin had introduced to help him control his emotions and connect with the Force. It was not just a spiritual exercise, it was a form of mental calisthenics, strengthening his mind and preparing him for the challenges of the day. The city, once his battlefield, was now his canvas, each initiative a brushstroke in his ongoing masterpiece of urban renewal. He continued his mentorship of young heroes, sharing not only practical skills but also the philosophical underpinnings of their chosen path. He emphasized the importance of ethical considerations, reminding them that power, without responsibility, could be a destructive force. He spoke of Anakin's struggles, not to dwell on his flaws, but to learn from his mistakes, using them as cautionary tales to navigate the moral complexities inherent in wielding immense power. Bakugo, surprisingly, had become a vital part of this mentorship, his initially gruff demeanor softening as he connected with the young trainees. He shared his own unique brand of tough love, pushing them to their limits while instilling in them the importance of teamwork and unwavering resolve. Their combined approach, a blend of Deku's strategic intellect and Bakugo's unyielding spirit, fostered a new generation of heroes, ready to face any challenge. One particular trainee, a young man named Ida, struggled with self-doubt. Haunted by a past failure, he constantly second-guessed his abilities. Deku, remembering Anakin's own struggles with self-confidence, patiently guided Ida, emphasizing the importance of self-compassion and perseverance. He encouraged Ida to learn from his mistakes, highlighting the fact that even Anakin had faced setbacks and failures but ultimately emerged stronger. He helped Ida to view his past experiences as valuable learning opportunities, not as insurmountable obstacles. Deku's artistic pursuits also continued to flourish. He completed a series of murals that chronicled the city's transformation, depicting not only the physical rebuilding but also the emotional journey of its inhabitants. These murals were not merely decorations, they were powerful narratives, illustrating the themes of hope, resilience, and the enduring power of the human spirit. The vibrant colors and dynamic compositions reflected the city's newfound vibrancy, its citizens' resilience shining through the strokes of his brush. His citywide art competition, now an annual event, had become a beacon of hope for young people, providing a platform to express their emotions and experiences. The entries were a testament to the city's healing process, the diversity of perspectives reflecting the richness of its newly forged community. Deku's commitment to fostering creativity went beyond mere artistic expression. It was a therapeutic intervention, a way of helping young people process their trauma and find meaning in their experiences. The coded message, that initial warning, continued to haunt Deku. It wasn't a single threat, but an indication of a larger, more insidious enemy, one that thrived in the shadows, manipulating events from afar. He realized that his work was far from over. The fight for peace and justice was an ongoing struggle, demanding constant vigilance and unwavering dedication. He intensified his training, pushing himself to the limits of his abilities, drawing inspiration from Anakin's unwavering commitment to his ideals. He delved deeper into Anakin's teachings, studying not just the practical skills but the underlying philosophy. He discovered a deeper understanding of the Force, not merely as a tool for combat, but as a source of inner peace and understanding. He learned to balance his intense focus with moments of quiet reflection, finding solace in the stillness, just as Anakin had taught him. He understood that true strength was not merely physical power, but a balance of mental fortitude, emotional resilience, and spiritual awareness. His days were filled with meetings, planning sessions, and collaborative efforts. He worked closely with city officials, community leaders, and young heroes to ensure the continued progress of his initiatives. He understood that maintaining the peace wasn't solely his responsibility, it required the collective effort of everyone in the city. He nurtured a sense of shared responsibility, encouraging everyone to participate in building a better future. One evening, while observing the city skyline from his balcony, Deku realized the true extent of Anakin's legacy. It wasn't merely about mastering physical skills or wielding the Force, it was about embodying the values of compassion, empathy, and unwavering dedication. He saw the city he had helped rebuild, a vibrant tapestry of diverse cultures, united by a shared sense of purpose and hope. The peace he had helped create wasn't just the absence of conflict, it was the presence of a vibrant community, empowered to build their own future. The lessons learned from Anakin resonated not just in his actions, but in the very soul of the city, a testament to the enduring power of mentorship, and the hope it brought forth. The sunrise, a daily reminder, now felt not just as the dawn of a new day, but a symbol of the unending pursuit of peace and justice, a journey inherited, a legacy continued. The crimson sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the revitalized cityscape. Deku stood on his balcony, the cool evening air a welcome contrast to the day's relentless activity. The city hummed with a quiet energy, a far cry from the chaos he had inherited. But the quiet was deceptive. The coded message, a cryptic warning whispered across the digital ether, pulsed in his mind like a second heartbeat. It spoke of an enemy far more subtle, far more dangerous than anything he had faced before. The initial attacks were subtle, almost imperceptible at first. A series of seemingly random power outages, glitches in the city's sophisticated security systems, minor disruptions to transportation networks, each incident, in isolation, insignificant. Yet, taken together, they formed a pattern, a chilling orchestration designed to sow discord and undermine the fragile peace he had painstakingly constructed. The enemy wasn't interested in outright conquest, they were architects of chaos, masters of subtle manipulation. Bakugo, ever vigilant, was the first to recognize the pattern. His keen observational skills, honed through years of intense combat training, detected the subtle discrepancies, the almost imperceptible inconsistencies that hinted at a coordinated effort. "It's not brute force, Deku," he growled, his voice raspy from countless late nights analyzing data streams. "It's clever. Like a virus, infecting the system from within." Deku agreed. This wasn't a straightforward battle, it was a war of attrition, a test of resilience and adaptability. He convened a meeting with his closest advisors, Bakugo, Ida, and several key members of the city's newly formed intelligence unit. The atmosphere in the room was tense, the air thick with unspoken anxieties. The city's newfound peace, the carefully constructed equilibrium, hung precariously in the balance. Ida, ever meticulous, presented a detailed analysis of the disruptions, highlighting the strategic nature of the attacks. The power outages weren't random, they targeted specific sectors, crippling vital infrastructure and maximizing the impact. The glitches in the security systems were sophisticated, bypassing multiple layers of protection with an unnerving precision. "It's as if they know the city's weaknesses," Ida stated, his voice laced with concern. "They're exploiting our vulnerabilities." Deku listened intently, his mind racing, analyzing the data. He recognized the enemy's strategy. It was a mirror image of the tactics employed by the previous regime, but far more refined, far more insidious. It was a test, a calculated attempt to break his spirit, to shatter the hope he had carefully nurtured. But Deku refused to be intimidated. He would not allow fear to paralyze him. He implemented a multi-pronged strategy, combining technological countermeasures with community-based initiatives. The city's intelligence unit, working in collaboration with Bakugo's team, began tracking the source of the disruptions, tracing the digital footprints of the attackers. Simultaneously, Deku launched a public awareness campaign, encouraging citizens to report any suspicious activity. The campaign wasn't merely a plea for information, it was a demonstration of trust, a reaffirmation of the community's strength. He emphasized the importance of vigilance and collective responsibility, reminding the citizens that they were not passive bystanders but active participants in the defense of their city. His murals, once celebrations of rebirth, now served as powerful reminders of the ongoing struggle, their vibrant colors reflecting the unyielding spirit of the city's inhabitants. The response was overwhelming. Citizens, empowered by Deku's leadership, became the city's eyes and ears, reporting suspicious activities, sharing information, and bolstering community spirit. The collective effort formed an impenetrable shield, thwarting the enemy's attempts to sow discord. The attacks continued, but their impact diminished, their effectiveness neutralized by the city's unified response. Meanwhile, Bakugo's team made a significant breakthrough. They discovered a hidden server, tucked away in a seemingly innocuous location, serving as the command center for the attacks. It was a sophisticated piece of technology, expertly camouflaged, almost invisible to the naked eye. But Bakugo's team, with their relentless persistence, managed to unearth it, revealing the true extent of the enemy's operation. The server contained detailed plans, not just for disrupting the city's infrastructure but for undermining its social fabric, manipulating public opinion, and eroding trust among the citizens. It was a chilling revelation, a stark reminder of the enemy's sophistication and reach. Deku realized that this wasn't just about technological countermeasures, it was about protecting the city's heart and soul. He intensified his efforts to strengthen community bonds, organizing public forums, community events, and interfaith dialogues. He leveraged his artistic talents, creating powerful murals that celebrated unity and resilience, emphasizing the importance of empathy and understanding. His message was simple: fear and division were the enemy's weapons, unity and hope were their antidotes. The final confrontation wasn't a dramatic showdown but a quiet victory. The enemy, thwarted in their attempts to sow chaos and discord, retreated, their strategy exposed and rendered ineffective. The city, strengthened by its collective spirit, had emerged victorious, its resilience a testament to the power of unity and unwavering hope. The coded message, once a symbol of fear, now represented a hard-won lesson in resilience, a reminder of the constant vigilance required to safeguard peace. The sunset, painting the sky in vibrant hues, symbolized not only the end of a battle but the beginning of a new era, one built on the foundations of resilience, hope, and unwavering faith in the power of community. The fight for peace, Deku knew, was far from over, but the city, united and empowered, was ready. The quiet hum of the city, once a comforting lullaby, now felt like a constant reminder of the fragility of peace. The victory over the insidious digital attacks had been hard won, a testament to the city's resilience and the strength of its bonds. But the weight of responsibility still pressed heavily on Deku's shoulders. He knew that the true measure of their success wouldn't be in the absence of attacks, but in the strength of the relationships that had forged their victory. He sought Bakugo out, finding him hunched over his workstation, the glow of multiple monitors reflecting in his intense, emerald eyes. The room was a whirlwind of wires, schematics, and half-eaten energy bars, a testament to the relentless hours Bakugo had poured into analyzing the remnants of the digital incursion. The air crackled with unspoken tension, the shared experience of near disaster hanging heavy between them. "How are you holding up?" Deku asked softly, his voice barely a whisper in the dimly lit room. Bakugo grunted, his gaze fixed on the screen. "Fine," he muttered, not looking up. "Just processing." A beat of silence passed, filled only with the rhythmic hum of the servers. Then, unexpectedly, he looked up, his expression softened, a rare vulnerability flickering in his eyes. "It was close, Deku. Too close." Deku nodded, understanding completely. The near miss had stripped away the veneer of their usual bravado, revealing the raw nerves beneath. They had faced death together, not on the battlefield, but in the silent struggle against a faceless enemy. This experience, shared in the tense, high-stakes hours of the digital war, had forged a new level of trust and understanding between them. "We did it," Deku said, a quiet affirmation. "Together." Bakugo finally managed a small, almost imperceptible smile. "Yeah," he conceded, "together." Their conversation drifted to lighter topics, punctuated by the occasional shared laugh, a stark contrast to the grim seriousness of their recent ordeal. They spoke about their families, their childhoods, the things that had shaped them into the people they were today, the vulnerabilities they had learned to hide behind their hardened exteriors. These moments of shared vulnerability were as powerful as any battle fought, creating a space where trust and mutual understanding could flourish. Later, Deku found Ida in the city's newly established community center. The space, once a derelict building, had been transformed into a vibrant hub of activity, bustling with people from all walks of life. Ida, ever the meticulous organizer, was overseeing a series of workshops designed to teach the city's citizens self-defense techniques and basic cybersecurity awareness. He was in his element, radiating calm efficiency as he directed volunteers, ensuring everything ran smoothly. Their conversation began with a detailed briefing on the latest security upgrades, a testament to Ida's unwavering dedication to safeguarding the city. But soon, the professional facade melted away, replaced by genuine concern for their shared well-being. Ida confessed that the recent events had shaken him, revealing a vulnerability he rarely displayed. He spoke about the fear he had felt, not for himself, but for the people he had come to care for. The fear of letting them down, of failing to protect them, weighed heavily on him. Deku listened, offering words of reassurance and shared empathy. He acknowledged Ida's anxieties, validating his feelings rather than dismissing them. They spoke not just as colleagues working towards a common goal, but as friends sharing a profound experience. Ida's meticulous nature, once perceived as rigid, now seemed endearing, a testament to his deep-seated commitment to order and security, born from a desire to protect the people he cared for. The evening culminated in a quiet gathering at Deku's apartment. The three friends, amidst the familiar comfort of their shared history, allowed themselves to truly relax. There were quiet conversations, shared laughter, and a palpable sense of relief. They reminisced about past battles, shared inside jokes, and discussed their hopes for the future, the bonds between them strengthened by the shared crucible of their recent struggles. The attacks had tested their individual strengths, but it was their collective resilience, their unwavering belief in each other, that had ultimately saved the city. The shared experience had forged a deeper level of trust and intimacy, an understanding that transcended the usual camaraderie of allies. It was a bond built on shared sacrifice, shared victories, and shared vulnerabilities, a testament to the power of friendship in the face of adversity. Days turned into weeks, and the city gradually returned to a semblance of normalcy. Yet, the sense of cautious optimism that permeated the city was not just the absence of attacks, but the awareness of the strengthened bonds within its community. Deku, Bakugo, and Ida, the city's unwavering guardians, played an integral part in solidifying this newfound unity. They were no longer just heroes in the traditional sense, they were the living embodiment of the city's spirit, its resilience, and its unwavering hope. Deku continued to use his art as a powerful instrument of unity. His murals, once a celebration of rebirth, now depicted collaborative scenes, powerful images of unity, resilience and hope. He organized community art projects, inviting everyone to participate, fostering a sense of collective creation and shared purpose. He recognized that the true defense of the city lay not just in technological advancements but in the strength of its social fabric. Bakugo, in his own unique way, contributed to this strengthened unity. He led workshops on self-defense and cybersecurity, transferring his expertise to the citizens, empowering them to protect themselves and their community. His gruff exterior concealed a heart of unwavering loyalty and a deep-seated concern for the safety of the people he was sworn to protect. He became a symbol of strength and unwavering resolve, inspiring others to follow his lead. Ida, always the voice of reason, focused on building bridges between different factions within the city. He organized interfaith dialogues, community forums and reconciliation efforts. His unwavering dedication to order and his commitment to fairness helped to resolve conflicts and foster a sense of mutual understanding. He was the embodiment of the city's collective conscience, its guiding light towards a future of peace and harmony. Their collaborative efforts extended beyond their immediate circle. Deku, Bakugo and Ida worked tirelessly to strengthen the communication between the city's different communities, organizing joint events and celebrations. They invited artists, musicians, and performers from all backgrounds to showcase their talents, fostering a vibrant cultural exchange. They realized that the true battle wasn't fought just on the digital battlefield or in physical confrontations. The most significant battles were those fought for the hearts and minds of the people, the battles for unity, trust, and hope. And in this battle, they were victorious. The city, once fractured, was now stronger, united by a shared experience and an unwavering belief in its future. They had learned that true strength didn't lie in individual prowess, but in the power of connection, the strength found in unity, the unwavering hope that blossomed from the bonds of true friendship. The city's future, they knew, was brighter, not just because of the averted threats, but because of the deepened connections forged in the face of adversity. Their friendship, once a source of strength, had transformed into a beacon of hope, illuminating the path towards a brighter tomorrow. The sunset, once a symbol of the end of a battle, was now a promise of a new dawn, a dawn where hope reigned supreme, a dawn where the bonds of friendship shone brighter than any star. Chapter 9, Whispers of the Force. The weeks that followed were a period of uneasy calm. The digital threat had been neutralized, but a subtle unease lingered in the air, a quiet hum beneath the surface of restored normalcy. For Deku, this unease manifested not as fear, but as a strange, unsettling series of events he couldn't explain. It started subtly, a faint tingling sensation in his fingertips, a sudden surge of energy that seemed to flow from him, an almost imperceptible shift in the air around him. One evening, while sketching in his rooftop studio, overlooking the city bathed in the soft glow of twilight, he experienced a sudden, intense vision. It wasn't a hallucination, it wasn't even a dream. It was more like a knowing. He saw, with absolute clarity, Bakugo struggling with a rogue program, a complex code threatening to unravel the city's defenses. He saw the precise sequence of commands, the hidden vulnerabilities, the exact moment of potential catastrophe. The vision was intensely vivid, filled with details he couldn't possibly have known. He felt the weight of Bakugo's frustration, the pressure building within him, and a surge of protective urgency washed over Deku. He raced to Bakugo's workshop, his heart pounding a frantic rhythm against his ribs. Bakugo, oblivious to the vision, was indeed grappling with a particularly stubborn piece of code, his brow furrowed in concentration. Deku, without a word, pointed to the screen, indicating the exact line of code that held the key to the problem. Bakugo, initially skeptical, followed Deku's instructions. The solution was instantaneous. The program stabilized, the threat averted. Bakugo, speechless for once, simply stared at Deku, a mixture of awe and disbelief on his face. "How, did you know?" He finally managed to stammer, his voice barely a whisper. Deku couldn't explain it. He simply shrugged, unable to articulate the inexplicable surge of precognitive insight that had guided him. The experience left him shaken, a tremor of something akin to fear running through him, mixed with a bewildering sense of power he didn't understand. The following days brought more inexplicable occurrences. He found himself inexplicably drawn to places where help was needed, sensing distress from a distance. He'd feel a sharp pang in his chest, a sudden overwhelming urge to rush to a specific location, only to find someone in need, a lost child, a person injured in an accident, a community facing a sudden crisis. Each time, his arrival seemed perfectly timed, his interventions miraculously effective. One instance involved a series of minor but escalating power outages in a densely populated district. The city's power grid was complex, a labyrinthine network vulnerable to various unforeseen issues. Technicians scrambled, working tirelessly to pinpoint the source of the problem, but their efforts proved futile. Deku felt a sharp, almost painful pull, an intense surge of energy that led him to a seemingly insignificant transformer hidden deep within an underground substation. He could somehow sense the precise point of failure within the transformer, a minute defect invisible to the naked eye. He guided the technicians, his directions precise and confident, despite having no technical knowledge. The issue was resolved within minutes. Ida, ever the rational pragmatist, initially attributed these occurrences to coincidence, or perhaps a heightened sense of empathy honed by their shared experiences. Bakugo, ever cynical, simply dismissed them as Deku's quirky quirk. But as the unexplained incidents piled up, even their skepticism began to waver. The phenomena were not always limited to acts of help and guidance. Sometimes, Deku experienced disturbing premonitions. He had a vision of a catastrophic accident, a devastating earthquake threatening to devastate a section of the city. The vision was so real, so intensely painful, that he woke up in a cold sweat, his heart hammering against his ribs. He immediately alerted the city authorities, providing the details of his vision, the location of the potential disaster, and the time frame. The authorities, initially skeptical, opted for preventative measures, initiating an extensive evacuation in the area. Hours later, a powerful tremor struck, precisely where and when Deku had envisioned. The timely evacuation averted a potential tragedy, saving countless lives. These events left Deku deeply unsettled. The ability to sense danger, to anticipate events, to guide others with an uncanny accuracy, it felt alien, otherworldly, something far removed from the natural development of his quirk. The sheer power at his fingertips, however unintentional, filled him with a mixture of awe and overwhelming responsibility. It was exhilarating, terrifying, and utterly baffling. It was as if a new power was awakening within him, a power that defied explanation, a power that felt ancient, almost mystical. The more he experienced these occurrences, the more Deku found himself drawn to studying ancient texts and forgotten lore, searching for answers in mythology and legend. He spent hours poring over books on mysticism, spirituality, and the unexplained, hoping to find some explanation for the abilities that seemed to be unfolding within him. He discovered accounts of similar phenomena, accounts of individuals possessing extraordinary intuition, precognitive abilities, and a strange connection to the very fabric of reality. Some of the stories referred to an ancient, powerful energy field, a mystical force that permeated the universe, granting its wielders immense abilities and untold power. He found himself subconsciously researching Star Wars legends, initially dismissing it as mere escapism. Yet, the parallels between his experiences and the accounts of Force sensitives in the ancient Jedi texts were increasingly striking. The stories resonated deeply, filling the gaps in his understanding in ways his own modern scientific knowledge couldn't. The intuitive leaps he was making in his problem-solving, the precognitive flashes he was experiencing, even the almost palpable connection he felt to those he wished to help, it all felt eerily familiar. His investigation led him down a rabbit hole, a complex web of historical anecdotes, philosophical interpretations, and speculative theories. He found himself immersed in the lore of various cultures, from ancient civilizations to modern spiritual movements, all sharing stories that hinted at a larger, more mysterious reality beyond the comprehension of conventional science. He felt like he was on the brink of discovery, on the verge of understanding a fundamental truth that lay just beyond the reach of his current understanding. The unexplainable phenomena, far from being a source of fear, began to fill Deku with a sense of profound purpose. He realized that these abilities, however unsettling, were a gift, a responsibility. The subtle hum that once felt like a haunting reminder of his vulnerabilities, now resonated with the possibility of something much larger, something more powerful, something more connected to the very fabric of existence. He knew, with a certainty that transcended logic and reason, that his journey had only just begun. The whispers of the Force, faint at first, were growing stronger, and Deku was beginning to listen. His search began tentatively, a hesitant dip into the vast ocean of human knowledge. He started with the readily available, online databases, scientific journals, articles on parapsychology and anomalous phenomena. He devoured studies on intuition, precognition, and remote viewing, hoping to find some scientific explanation, some rational framework to hang his inexplicable experiences on. But the scientific community, with its emphasis on empirical evidence and repeatable experiments, offered little in the way of concrete answers. The anomalies Deku experienced were, by definition, not easily repeatable, defying the very structure of scientific methodology. Frustrated, he turned to the humanities. He delved into the world of mythology and folklore, exploring ancient texts and religious scriptures. He examined accounts of prophets, oracles, and seers, individuals across cultures and throughout history who seemed to possess precognitive abilities, intuitive insights, and an uncanny connection to the world around them. He found echoes of his experiences in the shamanistic traditions of indigenous cultures, the mystical practices of various religious orders, and even the tales of ancient heroes and demigods. The more he researched, the more he realized the limitations of purely scientific approaches to understanding his experiences. He needed a different lens, a different perspective. This led him to the doorstep of Professor Anya Sharma, a renowned historian specializing in esoteric traditions and comparative mythology at the prestigious National University. Professor Sharma, initially skeptical, was intrigued by Deku's detailed account of his experiences. She listened intently, her sharp eyes studying his every expression, her mind clearly weighing the credibility of his story. "It's unusual," she conceded, her voice measured, after Deku had meticulously detailed his visions, his intuitive leaps, and his uncanny ability to anticipate events. The parallels to ancient accounts of mystical powers are striking. However, the scientific community remains largely unconvinced of the existence of such phenomena. Their initial meeting was just the beginning of a long and in-depth collaboration. Professor Sharma guided Deku through a meticulously planned course of research, providing him with access to rare texts, obscure archives, and a network of experts from diverse fields. He spent countless hours immersed in ancient Sanskrit texts detailing the concept of pratyaksa, direct perception, and its connection to intuitive insight. He studied the Kabbalistic tradition and its interpretation of divine revelation, exploring the concept of prophetic vision. He immersed himself in the writings of Carl Jung, examining the psychologist's concept of the collective unconscious and the archetypes that shape human experience. Professor Sharma also introduced Deku to Dr. Kenji Tanaka, a leading neuroscientist specializing in brain plasticity and cognitive anomalies. Dr. Tanaka approached Deku's case with a blend of scientific rigor and open-mindedness. He subjected Deku to a series of rigorous neurological tests, brain scans, and psychological evaluations, seeking to identify any neurological or cognitive mechanisms that might explain his abilities. The tests revealed nothing that could fully account for the scope and nature of Deku's experiences. While some of the scans showed heightened activity in certain areas of the brain associated with intuition and sensory processing, they fell short of a full explanation. "The data is intriguing," Dr. Tanaka admitted, "but inconclusive. Your abilities seem to transcend the current limits of our understanding of the brain's capabilities. It's as if your brain is operating on a level we haven't yet mapped." Deku's investigation extended beyond academics. He sought out individuals who claimed to have experienced similar phenomena, exploring first-hand accounts of intuitive insights, precognitive dreams, and even instances of seemingly supernatural intervention. He listened to their stories, comparing their experiences to his own, searching for common threads, for patterns that might unlock the mystery of his abilities. He found a striking similarity in the way these individuals described a sense of connection, a feeling of being intertwined with the world around them, a subtle, almost imperceptible hum underlying the fabric of reality. His research led him to explore various spiritual and meditative practices. He experimented with mindfulness techniques, attempting to cultivate a deeper awareness of his own internal state, hoping to gain more control over his intuitive flashes and precognitive visions. He studied the practices of Qigong, seeking to understand the flow of energy within the body, and the principles of yoga, aiming to achieve a state of heightened awareness and sensitivity. These practices, while not offering immediate answers, gave him a deeper understanding of the subtle energies and interconnectedness that seemed to be at the heart of his abilities. As Deku's investigation progressed, he started to develop a nuanced understanding of the limitations and complexities of his powers. He realized that his visions weren't perfectly clear, often fragmented or symbolic. He experienced moments of uncertainty, struggling to discern the true meaning of his intuitions, learning to trust his gut feeling while also maintaining a healthy skepticism. His precognitive experiences also carried an emotional toll, the intensity of the visions sometimes leaving him emotionally exhausted, grappling with the weight of potential catastrophes he couldn't always prevent. The research deepened his sense of responsibility. He understood that these weren't just random abilities, but a gift, a burden, a connection to something larger than himself. The knowledge he gained wasn't just intellectual, it was a profoundly personal and transformative journey. He began to see his experiences not as a scientific problem to be solved, but as a spiritual and existential exploration, a quest for self-understanding and a deeper connection to the world and to something beyond the limitations of conventional knowledge. The whispers of the Force were becoming clearer, louder, more insistent. They were no longer just a subtle hum, but a powerful song, beckoning him toward a destiny he was only beginning to understand. The path ahead remained uncertain, filled with challenges and unknowns, but Deku, armed with knowledge and a newfound sense of purpose, was ready to face whatever the future held. His journey was far from over, it was, in fact, only just beginning. The whispers, once a faint hum at the edge of his awareness, now resonated deep within Deku's soul, a powerful symphony of intuition and premonition. His research, a relentless pursuit of understanding, had yielded unexpected results. It wasn't just about identifying the what of his abilities, it was about understanding the how, the why, and the terrifying, exhilarating potential. Professor Sharma, ever the pragmatist interwoven with a surprising streak of mysticism, introduced him to a new field of study, the ancient art of ki manipulation. This wasn't the flashy, energy ball throwing spectacle often depicted in anime, but a far more subtle and nuanced practice, focusing on the internal cultivation of energy, a refinement of the body's natural flows. She explained that many ancient cultures across the globe, from the Taoists of China to the yogis of India, had developed sophisticated techniques for harnessing and manipulating this inner energy. These weren't just physical exercises, they were pathways to accessing deeper levels of consciousness, unlocking potential hidden within the human mind and body. Deku, ever the diligent student, approached this new avenue of exploration with his characteristic thoroughness. He studied ancient texts, poring over diagrams of energy meridians and descriptions of meditative practices designed to cultivate ki. He found himself drawn to the philosophical underpinnings of these practices, the emphasis on balance, harmony, and the interconnectedness of all things. This resonated deeply with the growing sense of connection he felt to the world around him, a feeling that had intensified with the strengthening of his abilities. His initial attempts at ki cultivation were clumsy and frustrating. He struggled to focus his attention, to feel the subtle energy flows within his body. He experienced moments of intense frustration, feeling as if he were grasping at shadows. But Professor Sharma, ever patient and encouraging, reminded him that mastering these techniques required dedication, perseverance, and a deep commitment to self-discovery. Slowly, painstakingly, he began to make progress. He learned to control his breathing, to still his mind, and to focus his attention on the sensations within his body. He felt a tingling sensation in his fingertips, a warmth spreading through his chest, a lightness in his limbs. He started to experience a heightened sense of awareness, a sharper perception of the world around him. He could sense the subtle shifts in energy, the subtle vibrations that pulsed through the air. The improvement wasn't just physical, it was profoundly psychological as well. He found himself becoming more attuned to his own emotions, more aware of his inner landscape. He learned to recognize and manage the emotional turmoil that often accompanied his precognitive visions, transforming his apprehension into a controlled anticipation. He found a new level of calmness in the midst of chaos, a resilience born from the discipline he'd cultivated through his key training. But the most significant revelation came during a meditation session late one night. As he sat in quiet contemplation, focusing on his breathing, he felt a surge of energy unlike anything he had ever experienced. It wasn't just a tingling sensation, it was a powerful wave of energy that seemed to flow through him, connecting him to something far larger than himself. He felt a sense of oneness, a profound connection to the world, to the universe itself. He saw flashes of images, not fragmented and symbolic as before, but clear and vivid, glimpses into possible futures, potential timelines, each one a tapestry of cause and effect. It was like the universe itself was whispering to him, revealing its secrets. This experience revealed a new layer to his abilities, a depth he hadn't anticipated. His powers weren't just intuitive flashes or precognitive dreams, they were an active connection to a universal energy field, a source of infinite potential. This wasn't merely a heightened form of perception, it was a capacity to interact with, manipulate, and even, possibly, influence the fabric of reality itself. The possibilities were breathtaking and terrifying. The newfound power presented both opportunity and challenges. The opportunity to prevent catastrophes, to guide humanity towards a brighter future, was immense. But the challenge was equally significant. He was a young man, still grappling with his own identity, his place in the world. Could he handle the weight of such responsibility? Could he bear the burden of knowing the countless potential paths, the innumerable possibilities of both triumph and tragedy? He was no longer merely reacting to his abilities. Now, he could potentially shape them, mold them, and channel their force. He understood now that the whispers of the Force weren't just premonitions, they were directions, guiding him toward a purpose yet unclear, yet profoundly significant. Dr. Tanaka, when presented with Deku's account of his experience, was both astounded and intrigued. His scientific mind, so accustomed to the predictable mechanisms of the human body, was challenged by Deku's extraordinary abilities. Yet, he couldn't dismiss them either. His previous neurological tests hadn't completely explained Deku's phenomena, but now, it seemed, they were only scratching the surface. He suggested further studies, proposing new tests designed to measure the subtle energy flows Deku was describing, employing advanced imaging techniques that could detect previously undetectable variations in bioelectrical fields. Professor Sharma, however, cautioned against a purely scientific approach. She believed that Deku's experience transcended the limitations of scientific measurement. His abilities, she argued, were not simply a neurological anomaly but a manifestation of something deeper, something spiritual, something connected to the ancient wisdom traditions that had been studied for millennia. She suggested that Deku continue his training in key manipulation, believing that it held the key to understanding, and controlling, his burgeoning powers. Deku, now standing at a crossroads, knew that the path ahead would not be easy. The discovery of his potential was merely the beginning of a much larger journey, one that would test his courage, his resilience, and his very sense of self. But he wasn't afraid. He had faced his fears before, and emerged stronger. Armed with knowledge, guided by intuition, and empowered by a newfound understanding of his capabilities, he was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, ready to embrace the responsibility of his extraordinary gifts. The whispers of the Force were no longer a mystery, they were a call to action, a summons to a destiny he was only beginning to comprehend, a destiny that intertwined his personal growth with the fate of humanity itself. The journey had just begun, and he was ready to embark on it. The weight of his newfound understanding settled upon Deku like a cloak of starlight, both beautiful and terrifying. He no longer saw his abilities as mere quirks, unpredictable bursts of precognitive flashes and intuitive leaps. They were a conduit, a connection to something vast and ancient, a wellspring of power that resonated with the very fabric of existence. This realization wasn't a sudden epiphany, but a slow dawning, a gradual unfolding of comprehension as he continued his training in key manipulation. Professor Sharma's guidance proved invaluable. She wasn't merely teaching him physical techniques, she was guiding him on a journey of self-discovery, a path towards mastering not just his power, but himself. She introduced him to the concept of mushin, the state of no mind, a mental state of complete tranquility and focus, devoid of emotional distractions or preconceived notions. Achieving mushin was challenging, requiring years of disciplined practice, but Deku, with his unwavering resolve, found himself making remarkable progress. He spent hours each day meditating, refining his control over his ki, learning to channel its flow, to direct its energy. He practiced specific exercises designed to enhance his awareness, to sharpen his senses, and to strengthen his connection to the universal energy field. He visualized the energy flowing through his meridians, feeling the warmth, the tingling, the surge of power coursing through his veins. It was like learning to play a complex musical instrument, each note, each chord a subtle shift in energy, requiring precision, control, and an unwavering focus. The subtle shifts in his perception were astonishing. He could sense the emotional currents of those around him, a symphony of feelings that flowed through the air like invisible currents. He could feel the tension in a crowded room, the underlying anxiety, the simmering anger. He could sense the subtle shifts in the energy field around him, the ripples caused by even the smallest actions. It was as if he were witnessing the world in a new dimension, perceiving a hidden layer of reality beneath the surface of ordinary experience. But this heightened awareness brought its own set of challenges. The constant influx of sensory information was overwhelming at times, a cacophony of emotional and energetic signals that left him feeling drained and exhausted. He learned to filter the noise, to focus his attention on what was important, to discriminate between the essential and the extraneous. Professor Sharma taught him to build mental shields, to protect himself from the overwhelming currents of emotion and energy, to maintain a state of calm and equilibrium even in the midst of chaos. His understanding of his power wasn't merely an intellectual exercise, it was a deeply personal journey of self-discovery. He confronted the shadows within himself, the doubts, the fears, the insecurities that had haunted him for so long. He saw the potential for misuse, the temptation to wield his power for selfish gain, the seductive allure of control. He realized that his abilities weren't a license for dominance, but a responsibility, a burden to be borne with humility and wisdom. Dr. Tanaka, ever the scientist, continued his research, devising new tests and experiments to study Deku's abilities. His findings, while inconclusive, reinforced the extraordinary nature of Deku's phenomena. He discovered subtle changes in Deku's bioelectrical fields, fluctuations that correlated with his precognitive flashes and his manipulations of ki. He documented an inexplicable surge in brainwave activity during moments of intense focus and concentration. But even his advanced instruments could not fully explain the depth and complexity of Deku's powers. The more Deku learned, the more he understood the vastness of his potential, the limitless possibilities, and the tremendous responsibility that came with it. He began to see glimpses of potential futures, not as fixed destinies, but as branching paths, possible outcomes shaped by choices, actions, and intentions. He could see the ripple effects of his own actions, the cascading consequences that extended far beyond his immediate surroundings, impacting the lives of countless individuals. The weight of this responsibility was heavy, but it also ignited a fire within him. He knew that he could not afford to be complacent, to be passive, to remain a mere observer of events. He had to be proactive, to use his abilities for the betterment of humanity, to strive to shape a future where peace and harmony prevailed. One evening, while meditating on the mountain overlooking the city, he experienced a profound revelation. He saw not just potential futures, but the interconnectedness of all things, the intricate web of cause and effect that linked every living being on the planet. He saw the delicate balance of nature, the fragile ecosystem that sustained life. And he saw the potential for catastrophic disruption, the devastating consequences of unchecked ambition and uncontrolled power. This vision clarified his purpose. His power wasn't merely a gift, but a calling, a responsibility to protect the delicate balance of life, to guide humanity towards a brighter future. He knew that the path ahead would be fraught with peril, filled with challenges that would test his resilience, his courage, and his very sense of self. But he was ready. He had faced his fears, conquered his doubts, and harnessed his power. He was no longer merely a boy with extraordinary abilities. He was a guardian, a protector, a beacon of hope in a world teetering on the brink of chaos. The whispers of the Force were no longer just premonitions, they were a symphony of guidance, a harmonious blend of intuition and understanding. They were a call to action, a summons to a destiny he was now ready to embrace. The journey had begun, and Deku, armed with his newfound understanding, his unwavering resolve, and his profound sense of purpose, was ready to face whatever lay ahead. He would walk the path of a true hero, guided not by arrogance or ambition, but by humility, compassion, and the unwavering desire to use his extraordinary gifts for the good of all. The potential for both good and evil was within his grasp, and he knew, with absolute certainty, which path he would choose. The future remained uncertain, but his commitment to it was absolute. The mountain air, crisp and clean, whipped around Deku as he stood at the precipice, gazing out at the sprawling cityscape below. The city lights twinkled like fallen stars, a breathtaking panorama that usually filled him with a sense of awe. Tonight, however, the view felt different, almost distant. His focus was inward, a journey into the uncharted territories of his own being. Professor Sharma's teachings resonated within him, the principles of Mushin echoing in the quiet stillness. He had achieved moments of true Mushin, fleeting glimpses into a state of profound serenity, where the incessant chatter of his mind fell silent, replaced by an acute awareness of the energy that flowed through him and around him. It was in these moments that he felt the whispers most clearly, not as distinct voices, but as intuitive nudges, subtle shifts in perception that guided his actions, shaped his choices. These whispers weren't merely precognitive flashes, the fleeting images of possible futures he'd experienced before. They were richer, more nuanced, providing not just glimpses of what could be, but a deeper understanding of why certain paths might lead to success or failure. He saw the interconnectedness of events, the subtle chain reactions triggered by even the smallest actions. He saw the potential for both devastation and creation, woven together in a tapestry of cause and effect. One such whisper had led him to discover a hidden cave system nestled within the mountain. It was a place of ancient power, resonating with a palpable energy that vibrated deep within his bones. He'd spent days exploring its winding tunnels, feeling the pulse of the earth beneath his feet, sensing the echoes of countless generations who had walked these paths before him. In the deepest chamber, he found a single, smooth stone, pulsating with a gentle warmth. It felt strangely familiar, as if a part of him had always known it was there. Holding the stone, he felt a surge of power, a connection to something far greater than himself. It wasn't an overwhelming force, but a gentle, guiding energy, a sense of belonging, of being part of something larger than his individual existence. It was a feeling of profound peace, of understanding, and of unwavering purpose. The whispers intensified, becoming a clear, resonant hum, a symphony of guidance, urging him to embrace the unknown, to trust his intuition, and to use his power for the betterment of humanity. But embracing the unknown wasn't without its challenges. The constant influx of information, the overwhelming flood of sensory input, was sometimes debilitating. He'd learned to manage it, to filter the noise, to focus on the essential, but there were moments when he felt overwhelmed, lost in a sea of possibilities, unable to discern the path forward. During one such moment, a surge of fear gripped him. He saw visions of a dystopian future, a world ravaged by conflict, where his power had been misused, twisted into an instrument of oppression. The images were vivid, terrifyingly real, causing his heart to pound in his chest. He felt the weight of responsibility, the crushing burden of his potential. Doubt gnawed at him, whispering insidious lies, suggesting that he was not up to the task, that he was destined to fail. Professor Sharma's words, however, echoed in his mind. Fear is a shadow, Deku. It feeds on uncertainty, on the unknown. But the light of knowledge and understanding can dispel it. Embrace the fear, confront it, and you will find strength within yourself that you never knew existed. He focused on his breathing, drawing upon the techniques she had taught him. He channeled the energy of the stone, feeling its calming influence soothe his turbulent emotions. He saw the dystopian vision again, but this time, he saw it differently. He saw it not as an inevitable destiny, but as a potential outcome, a possibility that could be averted through careful action and thoughtful choices. He saw the points of divergence, the critical junctures where different decisions could lead to vastly different results. The whispers guided him, not by dictating his actions, but by illuminating the path, highlighting the critical choices, revealing the consequences of each possibility. It was like navigating a complex maze, where every turn presented new challenges, but the whispers were his compass, pointing him towards the light. He began to experiment with his abilities, testing the limits of his power, exploring its various facets. He learned to project his ki, shaping it into tangible forms, creating shields of energy, manipulating objects from a distance. He could sense the emotional currents flowing between people, understanding their motivations, their fears, and their hopes. He could anticipate their actions, sometimes even before they themselves were fully aware of their intentions. Dr. Tanaka's research continued, yielding fascinating, if still largely unexplained, results. He discovered that Deku's ability to manipulate ki was linked to a previously unknown region of the brain, a nexus of activity that pulsed with a unique energy signature. He found that Deku's precognitive abilities were not merely random flashes of insight, but a sophisticated form of pattern recognition, an uncanny ability to discern subtle cues and predict future events based on complex calculations that even the most advanced computers could not replicate. The more Deku learned, the more he realized the depth and complexity of his powers, the vast potential for both good and evil. He understood the temptation of power, the seductive allure of control. He saw visions of himself succumbing to the dark side, wielding his abilities for selfish gain, causing widespread devastation and suffering. But these visions only strengthened his resolve, reinforcing his commitment to using his power for the good of humanity. He knew that the path ahead would be arduous, that he would face challenges that would test his limits, push him to the brink of despair. He knew that there would be times when he would feel overwhelmed, when he would question his abilities, when he would doubt his capacity to succeed. But he also knew that he had the strength, the guidance, and the unwavering resolve to overcome these obstacles. The whispers of the Force, once a source of confusion and uncertainty, had become his constant companions, guiding his actions, shaping his choices, illuminating the path towards a brighter future. He embraced the unknown, not with fear, but with a sense of profound purpose, a commitment to harnessing his extraordinary gifts for the benefit of all mankind. He stood on the precipice, not with trepidation, but with unwavering determination, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The journey was far from over, but Deku, guided by the whispers, was ready to continue his ascent. He would walk the path of a true hero, guided by compassion, wisdom, and the unyielding belief in the power of hope. The future was uncertain, but his commitment to shaping a better tomorrow was absolute. Chapter 10, The Call to Adventure. The whispers intensified, a cacophony of urgent warnings replacing the gentle hum that had guided him for so long. They weren't images this time, not visions of the future, but a raw, visceral sense of impending danger, a chilling premonition that resonated deep within his very being. It felt like a cold hand gripping his heart, squeezing the breath from his lungs. He stumbled back, the smooth, warm stone clutched tightly in his hand, its comforting energy momentarily overwhelmed by the surge of fear. The visions that followed were fragmented, chaotic bursts of images, a crimson sun setting over a devastated landscape, twisted metal skeletons of once proud skyscrapers piercing the smoke-filled sky, the desperate cries of the injured echoing through the ruins. He saw faces, etched with pain and terror, faces that he somehow knew, somehow felt connected to. They were ordinary people, caught in the crossfire of a conflict far beyond their comprehension. Then, he saw it. A shadow, vast and amorphous, blotting out the sun, its edges rippling with an unsettling energy that felt both ancient and profoundly malevolent. It was not a physical entity, not in the conventional sense, but something far more insidious, a corruption that seeped into the very fabric of reality, warping space and time itself. It pulsed with a dark energy, a perversion of the very key he had come to understand, a force that threatened to unravel the very essence of existence. The whispers sharpened, focusing on a single point, a derelict space station, orbiting a distant, uncharted moon. The station, a relic of a forgotten era, was now the focal point of this encroaching darkness. It was a nexus, a conduit through which the shadow poured its malignant energy into the world. And it was growing stronger, feeding off fear and chaos. The urgency was palpable, a suffocating pressure that demanded immediate action. He had to stop it, he knew this instinctively. But how? This wasn't a physical confrontation, not a battle he could fight with his newly honed abilities. This was something far more insidious, a corruption that threatened to consume everything in its path. Dr. Tanaka, ever the pragmatist, was both intrigued and terrified by the data flooding from his monitors. The readings were off the charts, a chaotic storm of energy signatures that defied explanation. It's like nothing I've ever seen before," he stammered, his normally composed demeanor shaken. "It's anti-ki. A force that negates everything we know about energy flow, about the balance of the universe." Deku felt the weight of the world on his shoulders, the immense responsibility of protecting humanity from a threat he barely understood. He spent days immersed in ancient texts, deciphering cryptic symbols and arcane prophecies, seeking any clue that could help him combat this new enemy. The ancient cave system, once a sanctuary, now served as his library and laboratory, the walls resonating with the echoes of forgotten knowledge. He learned of a lost civilization, a race of beings with an advanced understanding of energy manipulation, a civilization that had been consumed by a similar darkness centuries ago. Their final writings spoke of a weapon, a device capable of neutralizing the shadow's power, a device they called the Harmonizer. The writings were fragmented, filled with cryptic symbols and incomplete diagrams, but enough information was gleaned to give Deku a starting point. The Harmonizer, it seemed, wasn't a physical weapon, but a device that manipulated the very fabric of space-time, using focused energy to restore balance to the universe. It required a precise understanding of ki, a mastery of energy flow far beyond what Deku had currently achieved. He needed more power, a deeper understanding, a greater connection to the very essence of existence. His training intensified. He spent hours meditating, honing his control over his ki, pushing himself to the limits of his endurance. He experimented with different techniques, discovering new ways to channel and shape his energy, creating more intricate and powerful constructs. He learned to weave his ki into intricate shields, capable of deflecting even the most powerful attacks. He refined his precognitive abilities, learning to filter out the noise, focusing on the critical information he needed to navigate the treacherous path ahead. He pushed himself relentlessly, driven by a sense of urgency he had never experienced before. The weight of responsibility pressed down upon him, but he refused to succumb to despair. He drew strength from the stone, from Professor Sharma's teachings, from the support of Dr. Tanaka and his team. They worked tirelessly, translating ancient texts, analyzing data, refining their theories. The derelict space station, the focal point of the darkness, was not merely a physical location, but a nexus, a crossroads between realities. Deku realized that his journey would take him far beyond the confines of Earth, into the vast expanse of space, into a realm of cosmic energies he had yet to comprehend. This wasn't simply a battle against a force of darkness, it was a journey into the heart of the unknown, a test of his courage, his skill, his very essence. The whispers guided him, not as clear directives, but as subtle nudges, subtle shifts in perception that led him to hidden pathways, to forgotten allies, to long-lost knowledge. He learned of a hidden community, living on a remote planet, a community that possessed a deep understanding of ancient energy techniques. They held the key to unlocking the final piece of the puzzle, to understanding the full potential of the harmonizer. But reaching them was perilous. The Shadow's influence extended far beyond the derelict space station, warping space and time, creating temporal anomalies and unpredictable energy fluctuations. The journey itself would be a test of his resilience, a trial of his abilities. He would face challenges that would push him to his absolute limits, forcing him to make difficult choices, to confront his fears, to delve into the darkest recesses of his own being. Yet, even in the face of unimaginable odds, Deku felt a surge of hope. He was not alone. He had allies, friends, mentors who believed in him, who supported him, who would stand by him through thick and thin. And he had the strength, the skill, the determination to face this challenge, to confront the darkness, and to emerge victorious. The path ahead was fraught with peril, but he would walk it, guided by the whispers, armed with his knowledge, and driven by the unwavering belief in the power of hope. The fate of humanity rested on his shoulders, and he was ready to bear the burden. He would not fail. The whispers, once a chaotic torrent, now coalesced into a clearer message: he wasn't meant to face this alone. The harmonizer, the key to neutralizing the encroaching darkness, required more than just his individual skill. It demanded a team, a synergy of abilities far exceeding the sum of its parts. This realization struck Deku with the force of a physical blow, a stark contrast to the ethereal nature of the warnings he'd been receiving. He needed allies, individuals with complementary skills, individuals who shared his unwavering commitment to saving humanity. His first thought went to Dr. Tanaka, the brilliant scientist whose tireless work had been instrumental in deciphering the ancient prophecies. Tanaka, however, was more than just a scientist. His calm demeanor and insightful analysis provided a much-needed counterpoint to Deku's often overwhelming emotional responses. He was the steady hand guiding the storm. "Dr. Tanaka," Deku began, his voice still bearing the faint tremor of the overwhelming burden he carried, "I need your help. This is bigger than either of us, we need a team." Tanaka, who had been poring over complex energy readings, looked up, his eyes reflecting the flickering light of the monitors. "I anticipated as much," he replied, his voice devoid of surprise. "The sheer scale of the anomaly, it's beyond my capabilities alone." He paused, stroking his chin thoughtfully. "I've already begun contacting some colleagues, individuals with expertise in unconventional fields." The first recruit, introduced via a secure video call, was a woman named Anya Petrova, a renowned expert in temporal physics, her specialty, navigating the unpredictable distortions of space-time, a crucial skill for traversing the warped realities near the derelict station. Her sharp mind and even sharper wit immediately impressed Deku, and the ease with which she dissected his description of the encroaching darkness spoke of her experience and prowess. Anya, however, wasn't just a theoretical physicist, she was a master strategist, adept at anticipating her opponent's moves and exploiting their weaknesses. Next came Kai, a former Special Forces operative with unmatched combat skills and an intuitive understanding of tactical maneuvers. His expertise lay not just in brute force, but in strategic thinking, the ability to anticipate his opponent's moves and exploit their weaknesses, a skill that proved indispensable in the chaotic battlefields that Deku envisioned. Kai's calm demeanor and meticulous planning provided a vital counterbalance to Deku's often impulsive nature, creating a powerful dynamic between the two. The final member of the team was perhaps the most unexpected, Reena Sharma, Professor Sharma's granddaughter. Though young, Reena possessed an innate understanding of ki manipulation, a natural talent that seemed to echo her grandfather's legacy. She displayed a remarkable skill in harnessing and channeling ki, manipulating energy fields in ways that were both subtle and powerful. Her abilities were raw, untamed, but brimming with potential, a potential that, under Deku's guidance and with the support of the team, could prove invaluable. Deku saw in her not just a powerful ally, but a kindred spirit, a reflection of his own journey of self-discovery. Assembling the team wasn't just a matter of identifying skilled individuals, it was about forging a connection, fostering a sense of camaraderie and trust. Deku, still grappling with his own insecurities, found himself stepping into a leadership role he never anticipated. He wasn't merely delegating tasks, he was building relationships, nurturing a bond that would prove crucial in the face of overwhelming adversity. The initial training sessions were intense. They practiced coordinated attacks, developing intricate strategies to counter the unpredictable nature of the Shadow's influence. Kai's tactical brilliance paired seamlessly with Anya's grasp of temporal physics, allowing them to predict and exploit the distortions created by the encroaching darkness. Reena's raw energy manipulation, under Deku's guidance, developed at an astonishing rate. Her abilities were already impressive, but the focused training amplified them exponentially. Deku's own abilities were tested as well. He wasn't just leading the team, he was actively participating, pushing himself to improve his own skills. His precognitive abilities sharpened, providing glimpses into potential threats, allowing him to adjust their strategies on the fly. His ki manipulation became more refined, allowing him to create intricate shields and devastating attacks. The pressure was immense, but he felt an unexpected sense of camaraderie with his newfound team, a sense of belonging he hadn't experienced since the loss of his mentor. The training sessions weren't confined to physical drills. They delved deep into the ancient texts, deciphering cryptic symbols and complex diagrams, seeking any additional clues that might aid their understanding of the harmonizer and the nature of the encroaching darkness. Dr. Tanaka's analytical prowess proved invaluable, his insightful observations often providing crucial pieces to the puzzle. Anya's expertise in temporal physics helped them decipher temporal anomalies within the texts, revealing hidden layers of meaning that would have otherwise been missed. Together, they uncovered details that Deku had missed during his solitary studies, adding crucial pieces to their understanding of the ancient civilization and the weapon they had created. The team's dynamic evolved organically, each member's unique strengths complementing and balancing the other's weaknesses. Deku, often impulsive and driven by emotion, found balance in Kai's calculated pragmatism and Anya's strategic thinking. Reena's youthful exuberance provided a counterpoint to the more seasoned members' cautious approaches. And Dr. Tanaka's calm demeanor provided a steady anchor during moments of crisis, reminding them to focus on the task at hand. The bond between them deepened with each passing day, strengthening their resolve and bolstering their morale. They weren't just a team assembled for a specific task, they were a family, bound together by a shared purpose and an unwavering commitment to saving humanity. The impending journey to the derelict space station was fraught with peril, but they faced it as a united front, their combined strength far exceeding the sum of their individual capabilities. The preparations were nearly complete. Their ship, a sleek, modified spacecraft, equipped with advanced technology designed to withstand the temporal anomalies near the derelict station, stood ready for launch. They had mapped the path, charting a course through the warped realities, anticipating the challenges that lay ahead. They were armed, not just with weapons and technology, but with unwavering courage, unwavering hope, and an unshakable bond of friendship. The whispers guided them, not just to the derelict station, but to their destiny. The fate of humanity rested on their shoulders, and they were ready to face whatever the darkness threw at them. The time for action had arrived. The call to adventure had been answered. The final week before their departure was a whirlwind of activity. Each member of the team focused on their individual preparations, yet their efforts were meticulously coordinated, a testament to the bond they had forged. Dr. Tanaka, ever the meticulous scientist, oversaw the final calibrations of their specialized equipment. He designed a series of countermeasures to mitigate the effects of the temporal distortions near the derelict station, devices that pulsed with a soft, ethereal light, humming with contained power. These weren't just technological marvels, they were safeguards, designed to protect them from the unpredictable forces they were about to encounter. Anya, meanwhile, pored over astronomical charts and subspace readings, meticulously plotting their course through the warped realities surrounding the station. Her analysis revealed a complex network of temporal anomalies, shifting currents of spacetime that could send them hurtling through millennia or trapping them in paradoxes. She developed a series of intricate navigational protocols, using algorithms to predict and circumvent these distortions, her calculations precise and unwavering. She even designed contingency plans, a series of escape routes and emergency protocols designed to mitigate the risks of temporal displacement. Kai, the former Special Forces operative, focused on the tactical aspects of their mission. He meticulously planned their approach to the derelict station, anticipating potential ambushes and devising countermeasures for various scenarios. He studied the scant information they had on the station's defenses, creating detailed simulations to prepare them for any encounter. He wasn't just planning for combat, he was planning for survival, ensuring every contingency was covered, every possible threat accounted for. He even developed a series of coded signals, subtle gestures and vocal cues designed to maintain communication even in chaotic situations. Rina, under Deku's watchful guidance, honed her key manipulation skills. She spent hours meditating, channeling her energy, learning to control its flow with ever-increasing precision. Deku worked with her, helping her refine her techniques, guiding her through intricate exercises designed to enhance her control and power. He saw not just a raw talent, but a potential that could rival even his own, a force that could prove crucial in their fight against the encroaching darkness. He taught her not just how to wield her abilities, but how to control her emotions, her fears, and how to focus her energy precisely, creating a harmony between mind and body that was essential for her success. Deku himself, the leader of this unlikely team, underwent rigorous training. He spent hours honing his precognitive abilities, his ability to glimpse fragments of the future, and refining his key manipulation. He practiced defensive techniques, creating intricate shields to protect himself and his team, and perfecting offensive maneuvers, precise, powerful ki blasts designed to incapacitate their enemies without causing undue harm. He was not only a leader, but a warrior, a protector, and his commitment to the safety of his teammates was unwavering. His training wasn't just about physical prowess, it was about mastering his emotions, about harnessing the immense power within him, about maintaining his focus and resolve in the face of overwhelming odds. Their ship, the Stardust Wanderer, wasn't just a vessel, it was a mobile command center, a testament to technological ingenuity. Dr. Tanaka had equipped it with the latest advancements in defensive and offensive technology, designed to withstand the temporal distortions and repel any attacks. Anya had installed state-of-the-art navigation systems, capable of charting a course through the unpredictable currents of space-time. Kai had overseen the installation of advanced communication and surveillance systems, enabling them to maintain contact and monitor their surroundings, even in the most extreme environments. The ship itself was a testament to their combined skills, a reflection of their collaborative spirit and their unwavering determination. The final preparations extended beyond technology and strategy. They delved deeper into the ancient texts, meticulously deciphering the remaining symbols and diagrams, seeking any additional clues to understanding the harmonizer and its function. Dr. Tanaka's analytical skills proved invaluable, his insights helping to piece together fragmented information, revealing hidden layers of meaning. Anya's expertise in temporal physics helped them decipher subtle temporal anomalies within the texts, unlocking secrets lost to time. They uncovered details about the ancient civilization that created the harmonizer, their motivations, their strengths, and their ultimate demise, gleaning valuable lessons from their successes and failures. The team's bond deepened during these final preparations, their shared purpose solidifying their camaraderie. They shared stories, jokes, and fears, creating a comfortable atmosphere of trust and mutual respect. They held strategy sessions, not as formal meetings but as casual gatherings, exchanging ideas and refining their plans. They practiced not only their combat skills, but their teamwork, their ability to anticipate each other's moves, to support each other in moments of weakness. The weight of their mission, the fate of humanity, rested upon their shoulders, yet they faced it not with dread, but with resolute hope. The final night before their departure was quiet, a stark contrast to the hectic days that preceded it. They gathered on the Stardust Wanderer's bridge, staring out at the star-dusted expanse of space. Anya pointed out constellations, relating ancient myths and legends. Kai spoke of his own adventures, his past missions, his losses and his triumphs. Rina shared her dreams, her hopes for the future, her ambitions. Dr. Tanaka shared a quiet moment of reflection, contemplating the enormity of their task. And Deku, their leader, felt a profound sense of gratitude and camaraderie. He had gathered a team, not of mere allies, but of kindred spirits, individuals who shared his hopes, his fears, and his unwavering commitment to saving humanity. They were ready. Not just prepared, but ready. Ready to face the darkness, ready to confront the unknown, ready to fight for their future, ready to embark on their call to adventure. The whispers of the harmonizer echoed in their hearts, guiding them towards their destiny, towards a future they would create together. The countdown had begun, the moment of launch fast approaching. Their journey was about to begin. The Stardust Wanderer shuddered as its engines ignited, a deep rumble that vibrated through the ship and into their bones. Outside, the stars blurred into streaks of light as they broke free from Earth's gravitational pull, hurtling into the inky blackness of space. The initial acceleration pressed them into their seats, a physical manifestation of their commitment, a tangible reminder of the daunting journey ahead. But the discomfort was quickly forgotten as the breathtaking view filled their minds, a cosmic canvas painted with nebulae and galaxies, a spectacle that dwarfed even their anxieties. Their journey wasn't a straight line. Anya's calculations had plotted a complex course, weaving through the temporal anomalies that surrounded the derelict station. The ship's navigation system hummed, its sensors constantly adjusting to the shifting currents of space-time, a silent battle waged against the unpredictable forces of the universe. They were not merely traveling through space, they were navigating time itself, a terrifying and exhilarating experience. The first few days were filled with the routine of interstellar travel, a period of adjustment and observation. Dr. Tanaka monitored the ship's systems, his keen eyes scrutinizing every reading, ensuring the integrity of their technological safeguards. Anya meticulously checked her navigational charts, making minute adjustments based on the ever-changing temporal currents. Kai reviewed their tactical plans, ensuring that they remained prepared for any contingency, from unexpected encounters with space debris to potential hostile forces. Rina practiced her key manipulation, refining her control and precision, building up her reserves of energy, while Deku monitored her progress, offering guidance and support. Then came the first major obstacle. They encountered a cluster of space pirates, a band of ruthless mercenaries known for their sophisticated weaponry and brutal efficiency. Their ship, a heavily armed vessel, emerged from the shadows, its cannons trained on the Stardust Wanderer. Kai, cool and calculating, immediately initiated their defensive protocols. Dr. Tanaka activated the ship's shields, a shimmering energy field that deflected the pirates' initial blasts. Anya skillfully maneuvered the ship, dodging the pirates' relentless attacks, her piloting skills honed over years of intense training. The battle was swift and brutal. Rina, channeling her ki, unleashed a series of precise blasts, targeting the pirates' weapons systems and disabling their cannons. Deku, with his precognitive abilities, anticipated the pirates' movements, guiding the team's defense and thwarting their attacks. Kai, with his tactical acumen, coordinated their efforts, ensuring that their defense was seamless and effective. The pirates, unprepared for the Stardust Wanderer's capabilities, were quickly overwhelmed, their ship disabled and left drifting in the void. Their victory was a hard-won triumph, a testament to their teamwork and skills. The encounter, though brief, served as a harsh reminder of the dangers they faced, a preview of the challenges that lay ahead. The exhilaration of victory was quickly replaced by the weight of their mission, the sobering reality of their quest to save humanity. Further into their journey, the temporal distortions intensified. The ship lurched and swayed, tossed about like a leaf in a storm. The stars flickered and distorted, their positions shifting unpredictably. Anya fought to maintain course, her navigational system struggling to keep up with the ever-changing currents of space-time. Dr. Tanaka's specialized equipment pulsed furiously, battling the temporal forces, protecting the ship from the chaos. Their journey transformed into a dizzying dance through warped realities, a test of their resilience and their unwavering commitment. They encountered bizarre phenomena, fleeting glimpses of alternate timelines and realities. They saw stars that should not exist, planets that defied the laws of physics, and celestial events that were impossible. These glimpses, brief and unsettling, served as stark reminders of the unpredictable nature of their journey, the sheer power of the temporal distortions. These encounters shook them to their core, forcing them to confront the possibility of losing themselves, their identities lost in the shifting realities. The constant stress and the unpredictable nature of the journey tested their patience and resolve. Tensions flared, disagreements arose, and their camaraderie was put to the ultimate test. The weight of their mission bore down upon them, amplified by the unrelenting chaos of their voyage. Yet through it all, their shared purpose, their bond of friendship, proved to be their anchor, holding them together in the face of insurmountable challenges. One particularly harrowing encounter involved a temporal rift, a tear in the fabric of space-time. The ship was pulled violently towards it, sucked into the vortex of energy. Anya fought desperately to regain control, but the ship's navigation systems were overwhelmed. The team held their breath, bracing for the unknown. At the last moment, Deku, using his precognitive abilities, glimpsed a possible solution. With precise control, he channeled his ki, creating a protective shield, a bubble of energy that shielded the Stardust Wanderer from the worst of the temporal disruption. They were pulled through the rift, experiencing a disorienting, dizzying journey through alternate realities before emerging, shaken but unharmed, on the other side. The experience left them changed, shaken but resolute. Their understanding of the temporal distortions deepened, their respect for its power enhanced. It also fortified their bonds, revealing a depth of trust and commitment that would prove invaluable as they approached their ultimate destination. Their journey, despite the countless trials, continued, forging them into something stronger, more resilient, more determined to succeed. The derelict station loomed closer with each passing day, shrouded in a chilling aura of mystery and danger, a stark reminder that their true trials were yet to come. The whispers of the Harmonizer were stronger now, an almost tangible call, drawing them to their destiny, their mission, their ultimate showdown against the encroaching darkness. Their journey was a relentless test of their mettle, their will, their very souls. And yet, amidst the chaos, they clung to hope, fueled by their resolve to save a future that remained uncertain, a future they were determined to fight for, together. The derelict station, a skeletal finger pointing accusingly at the vast, indifferent expanse of space, grew larger with each passing hour. Its ominous presence hung heavy in the air, a palpable sense of dread permeating the Stardust Wanderer's bridge. The whispers of the Harmonizer, once faint echoes, now roared in their minds, a siren song both alluring and terrifying. But even as fear threatened to overwhelm them, a flicker of hope ignited in the darkness. A sudden jolt, sharper than the usual temporal tremors, sent them scrambling. Alarms blared, red lights flashing, painting their faces in a strobe-like effect. Anya's hands flew across the controls, her brow furrowed in concentration as she fought to stabilize the ship. What was that? Kai yelled over the cacophony, his voice tight with apprehension. Before Anya could respond, a message crackled through the comm system, a voice, clear and strong, cutting through the chaos. Stardust Wanderer, this is the Aurora. We're detecting significant temporal distortions in your sector. We advise immediate course correction. The Aurora? The legendary starship, a vessel whispered about in hushed tones among space explorers, a ship said to be faster than light, its technology surpassing anything known to humankind. Its existence was considered little more than a myth, a fanciful tale told to aspiring pilots. Yet, here it was, offering aid. Hesitantly, Anya replied, Aurora? This is the Stardust Wanderer. We are indeed experiencing severe temporal anomalies. We're en route to the derelict station. We're aware of your mission, the voice cut in, calm and reassuring, and we're prepared to assist. Follow our coordinates. We'll guide you through the worst of the distortions. Following the Aurora's instructions, the Stardust Wanderer adjusted its course, aligning itself with the mysterious vessel's trajectory. As they approached, the Aurora revealed itself to be even more awe-inspiring than the legends described. It was a sleek, elegant ship, its hull shimmering with an ethereal light, its design a blend of organic curves and sharp angles. It moved with an impossible grace, effortlessly navigating the turbulent space-time currents. The Aurora's docking bay opened, revealing a team of beings unlike anything they'd ever encountered. They were tall, slender figures with skin that shimmered like polished obsidian, their eyes glowing with an inner light. Their movements were fluid and graceful, imbued with an almost supernatural grace. Leading them was a woman with silver hair that cascaded down her back like a waterfall, her eyes radiating wisdom and power. She introduced herself as Lyra, captain of the Aurora. We've been monitoring your progress, Stardust Wanderer, Lyra explained, her voice melodic yet firm. Your mission to the derelict station is critical, and we're willing to help. Our people, the Luminians, have been studying the temporal anomalies for centuries. We possess knowledge that could prove invaluable to your success. Lyra's team included specialists in various fields, each bringing their unique skills to bear. There was Jax, a Luminian's expert in temporal physics, whose knowledge of the station's anomalies surpassed even Anya's comprehensive research. Then there was Zara, a master strategist whose tactical insights proved invaluable in navigating the unpredictable dangers of the station's surroundings. And lastly, Theron, whose expertise in ancient languages and cryptic symbols proved instrumental in deciphering the Harmonizer's cryptic messages. Their combined expertise significantly enhanced the Stardust Wanderer's capabilities. Jax's deep understanding of the temporal currents allowed Anya to navigate the treacherous space-time distortions with greater precision, minimizing the risk of being lost in the shifting realities. Zara's strategic guidance helped them anticipate and counter potential threats, significantly improving their chances of survival. Theron's linguistic skills were invaluable in deciphering cryptic messages hidden within the Harmonizer's calls, revealing clues to the station's history and the nature of the encroaching darkness. The collaboration wasn't without its challenges. Cultural differences led to initial misunderstandings, clashes of perspectives and working styles. The Luminians, with their advanced technology and centuries of experience navigating temporal anomalies, initially underestimated the human crew's resourcefulness and determination. The humans, on the other hand, were initially apprehensive of the Luminians' advanced technology and seemingly otherworldly capabilities. Kai, ever the strategist, had to work diligently to bridge the gap, emphasizing their shared goal and the necessity of collaboration. He carefully explained the human crew's past experiences and strategies, highlighting the critical role of human ingenuity and resilience. Over time, mutual respect blossomed amidst the shared challenges. They bonded over shared anxieties and triumphs, their initial apprehension giving way to a deep, unwavering camaraderie. They discovered a shared sense of purpose, a collective commitment to protecting the future of both their worlds. The combined knowledge and skills of both crews resulted in breakthroughs that would have been impossible to achieve alone. The Stardust Wanderer, now boosted by the Aurora's technology, moved with newfound speed and agility. Their combined efforts helped solve complex navigational puzzles and decode intricate ancient texts. The knowledge shared by the Luminians unveiled the secrets of the Harmonizer, its power, its purpose, and the terrible threat it represented to all life. The journey towards the derelict station continued, the danger intensifying with each passing hour. The temporal distortions grew more erratic, more unpredictable, threatening to tear the ships apart. But their combined efforts, strengthened by a newfound trust and collaborative spirit, allowed them to overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles. They faced down space pirates, outmaneuvered treacherous asteroid fields and navigated hazardous temporal rifts, each challenge forging their alliance even stronger. As they approached the derelict station, an eerie silence descended. The cosmos seemed to hold its breath, anticipating the encounter. The once faint whispers of the Harmonizer became a deafening roar, pulsating in their very being. The derelict station, a monolith of decaying metal and fractured glass, loomed closer, its dark silhouette against the star-dusted backdrop of space, a stark reminder of the perilous mission that lay ahead. The unexpected alliance proved to be a turning point in their journey. The Luminians, with their advanced technology and profound knowledge, provided crucial support, enhancing their capabilities, bolstering their morale and strengthening their resolve. The humans, in turn, brought their own unique brand of courage, ingenuity, and resilience, balancing the Luminians' scientific precision with a gritty determination born from their desperate fight for survival. Their journey towards the derelict station was a testament to the power of collaboration, the strength found in unlikely alliances, and the unwavering belief in hope even amidst overwhelming adversity. The alliance between humans and the Luminians was not just a tactical advantage, but a symbolic representation of the possibility of unity across different worlds and species. It was a beacon of hope in the face of looming darkness, a testament to the human spirit's enduring capacity for resilience and collaboration, highlighting the power of combined strength in overcoming extraordinary challenges. The final battle was approaching, and the fate of countless lives hung in the balance, but for the first time, they faced it not alone, but as a unified force.